Oh Lord, now the internet messing up. Okay, good. We live. I don't know why my internet messing up. I paid these people. I gave Verizon their money. But I was just rewatching the clip. You can search it on Twitter. And I've fallen in love with the Bravo camera people. They have really gotten better because you're watching Danielle and Jennifer fight, and then they zoom over to the corner, and you see Nick Cabral holding her purse like a good husband, watching out for her. He's far enough, like he's not Peter up in women's business. He is far enough away. He's standing back, but he is watching his what? Now that's love. That is love.
That's
Oh,
Italian love. That's Italian love because he knows his wife is capable of hands and he has to let her give them if she needs to. But he's got
yep.
her purse and he was there fast to separate them.
He was the first one on the
Yeah.
scene when Jennifer shoved his wife. And I'm sorry, but there is no husband that is going to let any human, any bear, any plant, any dog beat up his wife. I'm getting her out of there. I am pushing you away. I am neutralizing the threat because if I don't, the hell I'm a catch for the rest of my life. I vow to protect your butt. Oh, but this I have to say too, I'm so glad that the cameramen were right there. This isn't a confusing fight.
Nope.
They're not doing love and hip hop. We were able to clearly see. And I mean, now also, I want to point this out. Somebody on Twitter, we just launching in today. Somebody on Twitter said, Danielle calling a Turkish woman dirty was a microaggression. I can understand, and I'm going to Whitney Houston you on that. I can understand how you feel. But as someone who's watched this show and Mob Wives, when you're in that Italian community, that Northeastern Italian community, calling someone dirty or calling someone that's what you're going to get called. That has no racial connotation. That is what they call each other. That is a common insult in that tri-state area. I've lived there. I've heard it. And it's a way to cuss somebody out without cussing. You're dirty. It's like it doesn't have any foreign connotation.
It does not. That was called a stretch. And even like a huge one at that. No. No, no, no. There was no context of anything other than you're a dirty rat. And that is very Italian. You're a dirty rat. This is coming from a woman who has Italian family from the East Coast. You know, I understand these people, even whatever twisted version of Jersey we've come to. But she was, no, that's scrambleina. Everybody, that's trying to make something. If it does not fit, you must have quit.
Oh, that was like Monica. That was like when Angie called Monica a lowbrow rat, and she said brown, and
right.
She was like, I said lowbrow, sweetie. I said lowbrow, like lowbrow. Yes.
Yeah, get out of here.
I know you're trying to make me racist, but like, I need you to listen.
No. Microaggression. No, between two white women that are the color of mud. No, actually, Jennifer doesn't fake tan like Danielle does, but still, no. It was dirty rat reference. We all know because she was being two-faced as hell. That was why that argument happened. Now, I know everybody's going to have strong opinions. We're all going to think some things. But what we're really here to discuss is the dynamics of beefing within the franchises. Fight-tay-tay, right?
Fight-tay-tay. And also the difference between what level of assault it is and the level of the reaction of people around you. Now, this was definitely the slap heard around Bravo. This is definitely one of them.
The push.
And I know people are like, well, wait a minute. Kenya just got suspended for, she didn't even put her hands on someone. We can all say this now. Anything having to do with sex is going to be way up here. You can go like there's assault and there's sexual assault. That's up here. Doesn't matter if it's done by a woman. It's up here. That will get you suspended. Bravo can deal with a quick throwing of a water glass. They can deal with the skirmish. We've had skirmishes on Jersey,
from day one.
Beverly Hills, Married to Medicine, Portia's Family Reunion. I mean, Housewives of Potomac. Have we ever gotten physical on New York?
Oh, that's a good question. Help us, folks. Have we?
'Cause
Orange
Vanderpump
County has. Tamara was one of the first bitches to throw a drink in somebody's face.
Right.
Orange County.
Yes, this is live, Mel. Mel, did you want to shimmy on in too?
It's open forum this time, right? We're like everybody.
Oh yeah, this is an open. Let me put the link in. It is open forum. But I would definitely say I feel the reason that Danielle wasn't suspended and Kenya was Kenya did something sexual in nature that is always going to be taken much more seriously, that can have much more of a psychological effect on a person, that can affect someone's kids in a real way. So that's a higher level of disrespect. That's a higher level of affecting someone's life than, just getting bopped after you push someone. And also, why didn't they suspend Jennifer Aiden? Jennifer is good for the show. And I also think we got to bring this up. Portia got demoted because Kenya was angry. Phaedra got fined. Also, Phaedra told another lie that was sexual in nature. So again, amped up from a regular assault. Kandi got Phaedra fired. I think the girls of Jersey know their show is on thin ice and that's their main form of income. I don't think they're going to fart with the finances. I think Jennifer's like, look, I shoved her. She hit me with the water glass. It is what it is. Rather than like with Monique and Candice, Giselle had been plotting to get that heifer off the show.
Yeah, I think so. Well, first off, hello, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I won't be able to stay too long, unfortunately, but I saw you live, so I wanted to call in. You know what? I think that for me, one day I would love to, we all have to have a conversation about this, because I sometimes feel with the Candice Monique situation and also with this one that happened recently in New Jersey, I feel like sometimes the Jennifers and the Candice, they don't have the social clout. They don't have the clout. And I think that sometimes the ladies in the cast feel like they can be punching bags, basically. So I think that for me, Jennifer, I love her. I actually enjoy her very much so. The show has been really good since she's been activated. And I feel like they just feel like she's a person that they can just, do anything to. So talk to any kind of way. And she's just going to stand there and take it. But one thing about her, she has a mouth on her. And she says it. And as people said, she wasn't prepared for the girl to go insane and deranged on her. But,
Wait, now Jennifer pushed her first.
I want to say that. So the thing is about this too. Listen. So the thing, I don't know the last time, but anyway, I had a fight with a guy. That was probably when I was in high school. But the simple fact is, for me, if you're getting in my face, honey, I'm going to push you back a little bit. I'm going to say, get out my face. I want to smell your breath. Please move back. And then, so that does, for me personally, I don't think that requires you to take a damn Kool-Aid jug and try to knock my head off. Like, you don't need to be going that far. You really don't need to, girl. Like, what the hell? Like, was Jennifer up there giving you too much of your truth? That's why you went nuclear and deranged on the woman. So, that is what it is. But, she didn't go around crying and all that kind of stuff. At least, she didn't do that. But yeah, if you in my face and I can smell the Parmesan cheese on your breath, honey, you're gonna have to back. You have to back up. I don't want to smell the onions. I don't want to smell the garlic because I'm about to throw up. So you need to back your little Italian stallion self up with with your hormone problems being off, and you're gonna move out of my face because you know what? I'm gonna have to get my security guards to take care of you like a deranged animal. That's what I'm gonna do with you. So that's what we're gonna be talking about. Because at the end of the season, they talking about the woman is deranged again, trying to throw a damn table or something. I'm like, girl, what the hell? This woman is just.
I think throwing a table on Housewives of New Jersey is just a call back to season 1. I mean,
I think. Well, you know what, and I think that maybe we can say that Danielle is a little more thirsty. I mean, we can tell her hair's thirsty, so maybe that's why she's out there being, very thirsty the way she is. So yeah, I wasn't feeling Danielle. She was a hot mess. And yeah, she was a little too close for me. And I'm going to say this now. See, for me, my sisters, that's what the Parmesan joke, because we watched the show together. They was like, yeah, honey, if I could smell the garlic and all that, honey, I'm about to choke you up. That's the people from Brooklyn. My sister, they'll play that. So you can't get up in people's face like that and think that people are not going to move you back. So Jennifer was a little classier because somebody else would have probably tripped her and stomped her out or something. It was just a hot mess. So yeah, I think that they just thought that Jennifer was basically an easy target, and that's what they love it. They just love what's happening. But that's all I have to say about that. I unfortunately I can't stay too long, but yeah, I'm Team Jennifer. I hope she stays. But if she don't, I probably won't be watching because.
Aaron, I think, said it best that Jennifer is a necessary evil for this show. Pia, what are your thoughts? And thank you so much for coming on. Even if you can't stay forever, we love to hear you.
Thank you. Listen, I had some things I didn't have time to say it, but yeah, I enjoyed the show. I enjoyed it. I was going to say one last thing too. I think that with Jennifer, I feel like in my mind, at least I'm remembering correctly, she's just like Candice in a way where she won't say anything unless she's being provoked or unless she's being disrespected or aggressed in some way. And then she'll get a little shady or messy with you. I'm not saying the woman's not shady and messy, but she definitely, I just feel like they try to bully her, basically, is what I think. And, it is what it is. But
I actually have to disagree with you on that, Mel, because I'm sorry,
That's
because
okay. I love it.
We're here for discourse. We're here
I
for
really am, but I had to drop down. I'm gonna listen to y'all, but I love it. I love it.
Because
have a great day.
Yeah, yep, have a great day. I don't have any sympathy for Jennifer at all. She deserved all of that. Sorry, she deserved it. I'm so, ever since I've never liked her, and I can't watch Jersey because she's on there, and I can't stand looking at that crappy nose job her husband gave her.
Or she got that. She got it in Turkey. He didn't give it to her. That was maybe the problem.
Well,
anyway, sorry, I digress.
No, it's okay. And also, too, let's kick it back to BravoCon. What killed me the most was when she had the nerve to say this. I don't like the way, you say that low brow and these people, that's offensive. Ma'am, you got mad because a guest at BravoCon asked you a question and you fat shamed her. You did that at BravoCon.
I remember that.
It's on camera. And the woman came out and made a video about it and said that you were nasty and disrespectful. So no, you deserved all of that. Sorry, she deserved it.
I think she deserved it too. Because I think we're trying to compare two different skirmishes. This was closer to what happened between Kenya and Portia. Because from what I saw with my brown eyes was Jennifer pushed her first. And as a reaction, she got bopped in the head. It was very similar to what Kenya was doing with Portia, waving that scepter that Portia cannot spell how in her face and then got beat up. That's what happens. You can't push people. You cannot start. And I'm going to take a page out of Candice's book. You cannot start the physicality of a fight and then expect to not get your ass handed to you. So good job. I'm Team Danielle. Well, I'm Team Classy, so I'm neither Team Danielle or Jennifer. But in this situation, I think Danielle was the right one.
I have to say, once you Jennifer, also, if she didn't want to be in my presence anymore, nobody was holding you. I didn't have you in a corner. You could have stepped back, stepped to the side. There were a whole lot of things you could have done, but you were walking up in my face and you pushed me. It wasn't like you kept walking back and you're like, hey, back up, leave me alone, get out of my space. And then you pushed and she would have been the aggressor. No, y'all, you said, you gave a two-handed shove. That's the start of a fight. And Danielle, girl, when I say you can call her many things, but you can never call her not ready. Baby, she was ready. I don't know where that glass came from.
Neither do I. I don't know if it came from another multiverse.
Thank you. I mean, girl, it was like she was the Scarlet Witch and made that shit materialize.
Right?
That was a roundhouse. Boom.
Because she was talking with her hands And then Jennifer pushed her. And I'm like, did you already have the glass of water in your hand when she pushed you? Or were you so swift and so slick and so ready with it, you swiftly got it up off the table to introduce it to her earlobe? But she introduced that glass to her earlobe so close, they're probably getting married.
I said Staten Island reflex.
That ear was ringing when she got home. That ear was ringing.
Hilarious.
I was too busy laughing at her husband, or as I like to call him, Ricky Spanish.
Danielle's husband.
Mm-hmm.
I loved him though. He was in the back holding her purse.
No, I'm talking about Jennifer's husband.
The one that don't like her.
Yeah.
That
The one
man don't
he
like
runs and hides.
I mean, the look on his face when Danielle said, "You're sleeping with the devil."
He's like, I know.
The look, it said it all. And the fact that it was a smooth pan, a Jerry Springer running. There was no edit whatsoever. You can't say they spliced that shit.
Actually, it was, no, I'm not. I'm sleeping in the guest house.
Exactly.
Mark, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts is, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, no, my thoughts are just you can clearly see the difference between how they handle it with a black franchise, like how they did it with Potomac versus the whites. Look how they treated. Oh, yeah,
Yep.
sorry. Go ahead, Alex.
Oh, wait. I want to talk about it. Now that is a great point. And here is the
I'm over here snapping.
it can look different, but we have to look at who actually got who off the show. Because this is also a difference. The Jersey girls want to keep their show going, so they're not bucking, they're not calling police, they're not pressing charges. Now, when Portia hit Kenya, who pressed charges?
First thing she did,
it was Kenya.
Yep.
they didn't even finish the reunion before she called the police. You right?
Yep. We have the
It
sound
was
bite.
Candy who said, "I will never film with Phaedra again."
Yes.
The cast fired Phaedra. The cast said, "We don't want," and they had every right. That was beyond foul. That was beyond dirty.
That was disgusting.
You know, you lied on a black man. But
but
that's death for us. That's a problem for me.
I agree with you, Alex, on the Phaedra versus Ken. But what about the Monique part? Did Monique deserve to be iced out completely, or was it?
But who iced her out? Was it the black women or was it
The
Bravo?
ladies?
It was the ladies. Before Bravo could even make a decision, Giselle had been decided she was going to get her fired.
But what about Ashley and Karen? Ashley and Karen still wanted to film with Monique, so she still had half of the cast that was willing.
But Giselle was fighting. Candice had been hurt and was probably again threatening to press charges. I think Candice probably did. I mean, I'm sorry. I think, Candice probably tried to.
She did.
Yes,
And it got thrown out. It got thrown out.
It got thrown out.
But again, what happened there was very specific, though. Like I said, only person who had a justifiable reason to not want to film with her was Candice. Everybody else was conflating the issue. Giselle showing up with security, her play cousin coming to play security guard. You are a bad representation of black women. That was all Giselle's doing.
Yeah, and she brought up what Monique said in the past too.
And so we can't say that Bravo dealt with it differently. The black women dealt with it differently. Where it was before the network had a chance to make a decision, it was usually we was trying to get that B off the show before, But
I agree with you, Alex, but there's just one problem with that. How the network, when they deliberately sent Monique to a different hotel, that was the clear-cut sign that, like, hey, we want to F with you, and this is how we're going to sabotage even your final swan song at the reunion.
I think can I jump in right there? I'm so sorry because I know that's a question for Alex. I think at that point, so just remembering the timeline, because I know season 5 was some time ago. They filmed that scene where the fight happened in 2019. They didn't start airing the episodes until the midway through the year of 2020. They didn't film the reunion until the top of 2021. So just thinking about the timeline, So at this point, everybody, there's all this rumor and speculation when we first heard the fight happen. The fight is airing now. So the stuff that Monique was saying on social media as to what led up to the fight and what actually initiated the fight in that scene was not the same thing that we witnessed on TV. We didn't know that she was baiting Candice into arguments and Candice kept walking away. We didn't know that Candice did actually hit her with a glass or threw a drink in her face, and then that's when she hit Candice. None of those things happened, but we have been told that. So now people are questioning Monique, and Monique is blaming other people, i.e. production. This is when we're hearing about this whole, you talked about my baby, production knew you were trying to bring this person on to say that, Chris is not my child's father and all this other stuff. So I think at that point, production was really annoyed with Monique lying because Monique told a lot of lies. Monique was lying and production was frustrated with her. So now Bravo is involved in punishing Monique because we don't like how you're handling this situation. This is not the first fight we've ever seen on Bravo, but we've never really seen, well, no, let me correct myself because I don't watch a lot of the other franchises. I pretty much only watch Rolla and RHOP, but I don't recall Kenya going as far and lying and throwing production under the bus when her and Portia got into it, and vice versa. Monique did a lot of stuff that would piss production off.
Because Monique didn't need their little check. And Monique has always said they wanted me to go with a certain narrative. And now something like there are some things I'm sure you don't believe Monique about, and some things I do. But I will say there's a certain consistency with some of the things she said and some of the things that I've seen that I'm like, yeah, I do think that they were trying to get you to go with their narrative. I'll say a perfect example is Vanderpump Rules. They tried to get Ariana to go on and forgive Tom because they're all a part of the friend group. It's a part of the show. And she's like, I'm not going to do it because now she's her own star and sees opportunities outside of this decade-long show. Monique has her own money. So she's like, no, I'm going to tell it like I want to tell it.
Yeah, but Alex,
you wanted to tell it.
Alex, there's just one question. What I don't understand with the Monique drama. Why would you deliberately send her to a different hotel the day before the reunion just to mess up her reunion preparation? What's the whole point of
She
that?
was lying. We don't have any evidence of it though.
I will say I think they sent her to a different hotel because as a reality show connoisseur, whenever a cast member has a physical altercation with another cast member, they put people in different hotels. You know who else does it? Love and Hip Hop, and they've done it for years.
Because you can't film a reunion. You can't film a reunion. What's the whole point? That's my question. What's the point?
No, they actually, we had the same thing happen on Basketball Wives with OG because they don't want to run the risk. Studios are very, very small. They're not big areas. They don't want to run the risk of somebody trying to get their lick back, of somebody trying to get a viral moment. They don't, and also you have other people there. You've got husbands there. You've got mothers there. You've got other people that can be emotional and are not bound by the show's contract where it could become a shit show. So I will say from a production standpoint, even though it's not quote unquote right, there's a level of I'm not letting y'all fight again. Y'all have gone at it once. And if you go at it again and I, the production, have allowed it, I'm legally liable.
But that would make no sense because what would the benefit be for Monique to just go back on set and try to fight Candice again? That's the thing I don't understand. I think they probably had a conversation with her. Hey, if you're going to show up at the reunion, no shenanigans, no? Or am I seeing this too simplistically?
The thing is, people will say no shenanigans, but also Candice is an instigator.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing.
And reunions are intense too, guys. That's the other thing to remember. Reunions are very intense. What your energy is when you first start, by the time you finish all that filming and you're in, they look good, but they usually are in uncomfortable clothing for extended periods of time. They don't get a lot of breaks. They're rehashing things that are very upsetting. Midway towards the end of the reunion, their energy is totally different than it was when they came in.
And so are the family members and rehashing something like that. Like you said, it is a lot. It's a 12 to 15 hour day. Emotions are running high. We've seen Andy get snippy with them. So I can understand why production would say, I just don't want to be bothered.
Well, and do you remember, I just realized this, sorry to just jump on in, but Teresa pushed Andy trying to get to somebody. Do you remember that? There was violence at a reunion because some went on Jersey. That's another thing about Jerseyville that I always think about that makes them a very unique franchise to the other ones. There's been violence on this show from the day one. The table flip. Like, there has been physicality, then the Danielle hair pull with Jacqueline and Lorita's daughter. There was the
Margaret hair pull
Joey
with Danielle Staub
and the water, and then the Joe Giudice, whatever name you want to give him, fight at the baby shower. I mean, think about it.
Yeah, but the difference is Teresa is protected by the network in a way that none of these other women are.
Wait. Now, here's the thing. Was Teresa now, in a way, she's protected by the network, but I think what we've seen from why it has been tougher for the Black women, Teresa doesn't have to fight her cast. The Black women do. It is like, it's Giselle that was campaigning to get Monique off. It was, like when we look at who's been punished on our shows, it's the cast that has decided either you're in the in-group or you're not in the in-group. Whereas I would say it's much more the Bravo brass on the whiter shows. Because Teresa, like them girls, they're not fucking up their check. They're not calling the police on each other. Occasionally, but not, they might, like we've had a police call line, we've had a lawsuit plot line on OC in the earlier days, but Jersey, they're not calling the law on anybody.
But Alex, the problem with these shows is I've noticed a flaw in that. For example, Jersey has turned into, for several seasons now, into the Teresa's show. Potomac turns into the Giselle show. I mean, if one show is completely centered around one person, it takes the fun out of the quote-unquote ensemble cast dynamic.
I agree.
And in my opinion, that Bravo should have just let them go. Same goes for Kyle in Beverly Hills and whoever in OC. Just it becomes too much centered around one person. It takes away the fun and the ensemble-ness of the whole situation.
We're gonna bring my Biomiss Floral in because you had something to say, hon.
Hello.
Yep.
Okay. So the comment about how Jersey is so different from Raw or just Potomac, it's really interesting because, like people were saying, that violence has been part of it, but then you have to really realize these are older Italian women with very rich, usually Italian, adjacent men, and you just have to remember that.
I'm sorry, Rich. The girl is the poster child for mortgage fraud. I don't know.
I'm talking about early Jersey, earlier.
They were committing the fraud. They just hadn't been caught yet. That couple was a scam when she came on.
That's
stacks of cash.
No, this is my point. I'm going to get to it. These people, these families, they're mob ties, or the very least, like Caroline Manzo's husband and his brothers.
Yes,
they have been stated for decades now that they have been working with the mob. You couldn't be in a brownstone since the 70s or so and not be working with the mob. So because people have been saying from day
allegedly.
It's just,
we don't know shit for sure.
No, you're right. I'm just saying it's no surprise that these women are fighting so much, or even threatening to fight someone. So
I mean, also we've seen mob wives.
Exactly. Mob Wives was always said, "Oh, it's Real Housewives of New Jersey," but if they were like honest.
And wasn't Danielle Cabral giving full Mob Wives last night?
Dita, full Dita.
Where did that glass of water come from?
She materialized it of that hate for Jennifer and just she baptized her like Jennifer Williams from that was I haven't seen a baptism.
Be real careful. Now that was domestic violence. No, that wasn't right.
I'm not.
That was a baptism.
I apologize.
No. You're not. No. You don't have to apologize for bringing up what it was like. But I was saying that was domestic violence. Yeah. We can enjoy this.
But didn't Jennifer throw the glass first, Alex? Didn't she throw the glass at her husband first?
I mean, the way he reacted was a little. It was way worse. Like he could have freaking like
and also like he is this giant muscly man.
Okay.
If that glass had slipped out of his hand, that really could have hurt her. Like that's that threatened. Like I'm not gonna hit you, but I can. Like
Alex,
what?
I have one question. Oh, sorry to interrupt. I just have one question. Do you think Jennifer has learned now from this interaction, or do you think she will continue on this path?
Oh, she's a victim now. She can monetize it now.
Will she do the same antics going forward, or do you think she's going to scale it back a bit?
You know, that's an interesting question.
I don't really see it.
She could take it two ways. She could say, I don't want to get embarrassed again. And tuck her tail between her legs, and like Kenya wouldn't try Portia again. Like, oh, all right, you whipped my ass once, I learned. Or she could say, oh, I can poke that bear and get you fired. I can get you to leap out of character. So now I'm going to try to prod and cajole and get you to slap the shit out of me because Jennifer loves attention, positive or negative.
Do you think she's going to do the latter, or do you think she's going to do the former?
It depends on how that marriage goes.
Okay.
Because I'm sure her husband has looked at this footage and he, trying to be a respected surgeon, like his wife already is walking around looking like Miss Piggy, but he's like, that's not my work. But now she's an embarrassment to him. I mean, they gonna stay together because they got them 11 kids and he don't want visitation with them, allegedly. But I feel like he's, Tom Cruise and them kids is Suri Cruise. He's like, yeah, they exist.
I mean, Alex, the way she reacted when Danielle threw that that plastic cup in her face, she's not about that life. She doesn't know how to fight. If there wasn't security between them, Danielle probably would have whooped her ass completely.
Danielle showed restraint by only hitting her with the glass. So, like that water reaction, I'm sorry, Danielle could have two-pieced her. Danielle could have gotten a bop, bop.
Yeah, it was like no hesitation. Like
I have
like
so
she
much
touched her and it was like immediate hand.
I respect that. Oh my God. I enjoyed her before, but the lack of hesitation, that's how you say, okay, bitch. That is how you say, okay, bitch.
Alex, would you allow a person to get that close in your face? I mean,
no.
She did.
No.
Yeah. No. See, but I'm not going to push anyone. She had
don't escalate.
Space and opportunity behind and to the side. I'm going to put my hand up in my space. No, leave me alone. And I back away. You ain't getting that close to me. I've seen enough of these shows where you always want to get that first bop in.
Honestly, when I look at the clip, here's what I see objectively. Two women in a heated fight where like the dislike for one another is really coming out, and they are both in the danger zone when they get too close to one another's face. It was an initiation when Danielle got close to Jennifer, but Jennifer didn't make any moves to get away from her. She literally put the little T-Rex arms out and jab push, jab push. And that jab push totally sparked a swing roundhouse clock you to the side. And then they were separated and nobody kept going because they feel like it was in a mutual physical altercation in a heat of the moment. We can talk about who was more motivated by whatever, but in this case, if Jennifer tries to cry victim to Danielle's response, all you got to do is look at the way that she pushed her. But I also can understand if you're fighting with someone and they're in your face, you're dirty, that you pushed because you got really pissed. You know what I mean? It was just one of those heat of the moment situations.
Also, you have to look up.
I was going to say, and to Aaron's point, I think that's why we haven't seen Jennifer play victim like she usually does. Because normally there would have been a flurry of stories before this came out and then after this came out and mug shots. But she's not. And again, this is why the Jersey girls are going to stay together. Ain't nobody calling no fucking police. Nobody's going to say, I'm not going to film with her. It's no, I'm going to film with you because I'm going to get you next time, bitch. If I'm not going to hit you, then I'm going to tell you business. Exactly. Like Marge isn't going to get into a physical altercation with anybody, but she sure did get Danielle. Now, I'll say this, Marge got Danielle off the show, but Danielle's always been hit or miss, so that ain't really doing much.
Everybody gets Danielle off the show.
Yeah, Danielle gets herself off the show. I pushed her husband in the pool.
Alex, do you think Danielle has... sorry.
To my point is Jennifer, because I haven't been really keeping up with Jersey, but after this altercation, I like binged everything, especially the last 2 seasons. And yeah, everyone's been saying she's had this coming, and because she's been having this coming, she has been this like she's making these threats and like she's trying to, you know, physically like intimidate these women. But then when she gets someone else to come to her, it's all of a sudden it's, oh no, I'm not, like, you know, you're allowing to get in my space, then I'm going to push you, and then I get baptized. I don't know. I feel like it's been she deserved it, she earned it, and frankly, she's not a victim.
Jennifer does throw stuff.
Too feisty. What are your thoughts?
I'm agreeing with what everybody's saying. And truth be told, one of my frustrations about these shows is just nobody wants to play. Everybody wants to, collect the check, but nobody wants to participate. Nobody wants to put the work in. So I'm just glad to see that we're going back to the old ways of doing things where the girls actually show up to work. And it's not a bunch of, I'm going to call the police. I don't want to film with this person. I'm only going to attend if this person isn't there. They get paid entirely too much to keep making these complaints.
So I have a question.
You have a point. You really do have a point, Too Feisty. It is time to get back to you heifers cannot decide who you're going to film with, who you're not going to film with. You better go on and make friends with her, make up, and make it work. We're not doing the I'm not filming with you. Get off the show. I like everybody is saying, Jersey's not going to have a Andy said Jersey isn't going to have a reunion. I think also it's time for Jersey, and you know what? They actually are doing this successfully because we're not talking about fucking Teresa.
Yes. Yeah.
Alexander, who's going to get the favorable edit next season? Is it going to be Danielle or Jennifer
Melissa,
because of this fight?
Oh, Danielle.
Danielle?
Yeah.
I feel like to be on Jersey is to not get a favorable edit. I feel like
100.
Like you are all horrible.
Exactly. It's a show about unlikable women. I mean, who would you want to have lunch with from the Housewives of New Jersey?
Melissa, because I want to fuck her husband.
Honey, you know what? Let me shut up.
Attractive?
You see, Ernie, on today's episode of I'm Shutting Up. I'm shutting up. I mean, I can't go to lunch with Marge because she's a Republican. Teresa, I haven't been to a zoo in years.
I need subtitles with Teresa.
Well, Teresa gave me a Zeus tea, so I don't want to be around that.
I don't trust Melissa. Danielle will hit me.
Yeah.
And I don't remember anyone else who was on the show.
Yeah, well, Teresa always gives me like this sort of Zeus tea where she hasn't got anything else going for her. Like she hasn't got like I can run amok and act a fool because I got nothing else.
None of these women have anything else going for them. That is why they will not call the police.
Yeah.
Oh, none of the. That's why we've got Jackie doing the desperate antics of the flip flop. These women are trying to hang on to this franchise by their claws, their literal claws.
But don't you find it interesting? They're so desperate. Like it's like, no, please, Andy, no, don't put me on the street. No, please.
Do you know how much money they're making in this economy? And then also the clout of being a housewife. And then the chance to make more money on Traders, on Girls Trip. I'm sorry, that's a multi-million-dollar career. And then it funds your businesses like Envy, because wouldn't nobody be looking at that heifer for style and clothing if she wasn't on this show? But other bland, thin white women are like, oh, thank God, a place I can shop.
But how much money are they actually making? Because Bravo's taking like what? 50?
Nope, she was on before the Bethany clause.
Oh, okay, never mind.
But also, too, I think they're addicted to the fame. It's beyond even what anything could bring them. It's the exclusive elitism. It's the being part of the Bravo world, the adoration. Look at what BravoCons become. These women are absolutely addicted to
that part.
And this is what we're seeing on Jersey, including Jennifer Aiden's antics. You know what I mean? Like,
they love the attention.
Marge
they love it.
They all love it. They love it so much. And the new ones love it a lot too, because Rachel Fuda and Danielle have come running in, with their little fists are flying.
They love they love the follower count. They love getting invited to pointless events. They love being recognized in the grocery store. They love all of that. They want that more than the money.
So question, would you guys get bored if you had to be like doing this like year after year after year? Like, I feel like Jersey's especially has been doing this shtick of just being these, just awful to one another, but there hasn't been really anything going on.
They have been super duper toxic, in my opinion, for a while.
Oh, yes, but like even that, you'll be like, okay, now I'm yelling at another woman, like news at 11 is like, what have they done to actually be? Because Roa has been part of the even just a general pop. What I'm trying to say, normal people use Roa in their like memes and stuff.
Jersey is to white culture what Atlanta is to black culture.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Those are their aunties, like Roa is our aunties.
But we love our aunties.
And they love their aunties in their own way. It's a view into a different world.
I would say Beverly Hills is more loved than Jersey.
We love it differently on the East Coast. We say it with money.
I think it comes down to lifestyle too, because correct me if I'm wrong, but the Jersey girls are more seem more down to earth. So the everyday I wear flip flops to the grocery store girls, they probably identify more with the people on Jersey as opposed to the people who are on Beverly Hills.
That's very true. I see.
I guess, yeah.
There's just also those warm associations we have with the East Coast Italian stereotype,
Yeah.
and what we think of them, and like how we laugh when they act like mob wives, but like they really do have mob affiliations. I mean, like some of the stereotypes are true for a reason, and for a really long time, we could totally get with like, you want to talk about my family, you know what I mean, like, and do all of that. Yeah, we were all into that, but then at some point on this franchise, it got super nasty, and like, it got so dark, and now it's these two factions. It's like the Jets and the Sharks, and it's like really kind of like vicious, and I think that's where
But
everybody's looking. Where are we going now?
Yeah, it's
you
crazy.
know, oh my God. You know why Jersey has been so successful for so long? Exactly what you said, Aaron. But the thing is, Jersey is about family.
Exactly.
And that's why the cast hasn't really changed that much, because there are a lot of people with toxic in-laws,
Mm-hmm.
just like Teresa.
And Melissa, and then
And
what
where
was her
it's,
name?
you know, there are a lot of women out there that are the wives that have married into these families, be they, you know, Italian or whatever nationality or race, you know, you want to attach to them. There are families of every hue, even though that makeup went nowhere.
Oh.
But there are families of every hue that have a toxic sister-in-law or a toxic mother-in-law, and the long-suffering spouse that's just trying to deal with it. And this is how it kind of goes. It's 10 years of trying to get it to fucking together, and then you just stop speaking. And then
yeah, like there's cousins that were like friends with each other, or like, you know, some random woman, but their children are friends with your children, so it's, you know, fighting over that. Like Jersey always gave me like an old like soap opera almost, because
It
you
was
had
very
all
lovely.
these families just like, it was the Gorgas versus the Giudices, that kind of thing, and then you have the Manzos like trying to be like, you know, on the fence, but then, you know, that whole stuff happened. So
And you had the cousins. Remember your Teresa's cousins,
Mhm.
the Wakilis.
Yeah, you know, some random person comes in and it's like, who the hell are you guys? And it's like, oh yeah, we've been, you know, friends with the family for decades. And it's like, oh well, here's another player. Or Kathy, you know, like cousins to Teresa and all that, and then her sister. And it's like, it was so fascinating. But now
And
we
so-
have
and I would say, and I think because of that, we have these family dynamics that everyone of every race can relate to. We've all had either close family or maybe a little distant, where it's like, oh Lord, we don't go over there. We had a Thanksgiving over there and they was fighting, and this one's
Yeah.
so there's a level of family drama that is familiar to us all. And I think that's Jersey's secret sauce. It's what keeps us coming back.
Yeah, I can play the fifth for the family drama. That's why I like Jersey.
But now Melissa's basically like, I'm not dealing with her ever again.
Well, and I think that's why it kind of goes back to the age-old thing where they were saying, if the family's not even speaking at all, are they just dead in the water? Because if you go, this is a great point about Jersey, period. Think about how entangled they were when they started. Jacqueline and Loretta was Dina and Caroline's sister-in-law. And so you had 3 siblings on the show. You had Teresa, and then you quickly had Melissa on. I mean, everybody that was on that cast, I think Jacqueline knew Danielle, but like everyone genuinely knew one another, and the situation was very enmeshed, and they were literally the epitome of, you stick together. It may be crazy, but your family.
Wasn't Jacqueline married to Caroline's brother?
Still is, yeah, Chris. Yeah, so she's they all started out very related and very good friends, genuinely. Like the Manzos, Teresa, they went back far back. So it's really sad that we all watched Teresa go to jail, give birth to children. We watched, and then when her parents died, we watched their relationship fall apart. And it was super dark when we watched Caroline left the show before this happened, but soon after, or Dina did. But when Dina and Caroline left, you know, Dina's ex-husband hired hitmen to disfigure her and her husband in the middle of the night, is now convicted. I mean, we got to a point where his family sticks together is not enjoyable Bravo TV anymore.
Yeah, that opened my eyes. It's like, oh yeah, the allegations
that are now
maybe
not
true.
even.
I mean, we can talk about, you know,
that's scary. Can you imagine having an argument with a woman, and then, you know, you might, you know, disagree, or like you don't like each other, and now you have some burly man in the middle of the night trying to slash you open because
That's
you just
terrifying.
had on the show.
He's convicted.
That's terrifying.
He's convicted.
Yeah.
Her ex-husband is convicted of hiring people to assault her and her then boyfriend, now husband, in the middle of the night and giving them a free wedding at the brownstone in payment.
I was gonna say he did it for a free wedding at the Brown.
How freaking mob like Godfather is that? It's like I'm gonna pay for your wedding. Just do this shit for me.
This is a little off topic, but I need everybody's opinion. We gone round robin. It's time for Black Dolores to go. I don't think so, and here's why. Now go with me on this. Everybody, we gonna get on the Underground Railroad. Why does Black Dolores have a new man, a new engagement? She'll keep them for about 2 seasons, maybe 3. She get a house out their ass, get a new car out their ass. Nobody has realized this bitch is the Marlo of New Jersey.
Oh, not Kenya?
No, we're talking about Black Dolores in New Jersey. Like, how many men?
No, but it's kind of like Kenya, where she can't keep a man to lock her down.
Kenya's men don't pay for shit, don't do shit, want nothing to do with her.
Touche.
Kenya's men are paid and they sleeping on the job. And
she got child support for 18 years from Mark. So,
$2,000 a month
in this economy
for a baby. That's like $200. You could wipe your ass with that.
I mean, she probably does.
That $200, $2,000 is like $200 these days.
I mean you say that, but
now she's probably going to really need that.
That $2,000 might look real good these days,
especially right now on suspension.
Exactly. It's like let's go and keep the lights on for a few months.
Is that $2,000 tax though?
How are we not calling out Black Dolores on the and two? I feel like she gets with men. Because Black Dolores is a woman of a certain age, and I am a gentleman of a certain age. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, like we ain't doing that, 20 and 30-year-old shit where we trying something new. You know exactly who he is by the way he walk in the room. You ain't new. You true.
I don't know why she's into this red skin potato that she's got. I'm just not.
He is. I don't think
some people like potatoes.
I love them, but you know what?
Versatile.
This is not the style that I care for.
I think this is about money. I really do. I think that's why she was with that doctor that never spent no time with her and was sleeping with Frank, allegedly. He definitely ran to Frank's side when Frank had an injury and, wasn't even spending no time with him, and Frank moved in together. I'm like, now what kind of girlfriend has a man move in with your ex-husband?
Don't let your girlfriend stop you from being with your true love, okay?
It's the secret pussy of it all for me.
I didn't have... I was about to start telling some of my business. Anyway. Oh, Lord. I almost told a little business, but no. But how is that normal? So I feel like Dolores didn't get that much in her divorce from Frank. She's trying to put this money from the show away so she has a nest egg. So she finds men that want a woman, but she knows good and well they're not going to marry her, but they will keep her ass in Gucci and gold. She is the Marlo of New Jersey. She just does it long term and is, proud that she's proud arm candy. Marlo is quiet arm candy.
Some people like that though, Alex. Some people only want that. Not everybody wants to be married.
I think Dolores is the prouder version of Portia, and she plays a long game of men.
Are you saying some people are you saying Dolores just wants a boyfriend?
She might.
Yeah,
she might not want to be a wife,
especially at this age.
Here's why I'm going to respectfully disagree.
Okay.
She keeps bringing up marriage. Now, my experience with women, and I like the wonderful thing about being gay is y'all have always been my best friends, and for a good 20 years now, women that don't want a husband, they're kind of like vegans with that. They will let you know They don't want a husband. Why they don't want a husband when they came to the decision they don't want a husband. Why you can't convince them they don't want a husband. They will let you know, baby, I love it just like it is. I got my, also they'll let you know how much of their own they got. So my experience with women that don't want husbands, I feel like that would be her claim to fame.
Or maybe she's like a Presbyterian and she's like on the way to be that, where she's trying this out, like saying like, okay, if I give it a good college try, I'll get married. But she's at that time and age where she's not going to fully commit.
Wait a minute. Somebody said
no.
Wait a minute. Oh my God. Tia Snap. I met you at BravoCon. Oh my God. Oh my God. Hey, I met you at BravoCon. Now he says Dolores seems to date way below her worth. I would say I'm going to respectfully disagree with that. I'll say she dates men that don't seem to be interested in what she's interested in, which to me seems marriage. Like she gets men that want to be with her, but that want to do that eternal girlfriend thing. And she's like, no, when you die, I'm going to get something.
And this is why I keep saying that Dolores is just Portia, but on Jersey. Portia wants to get married. Dolores wants to get married. The boyfriend seen on the keep her in finery, but also had no business of being with her.
I do agree
I
with
think
Leon.
Portia messed up though, because now we have Simon. Like it's Simon, right? That's messing with her, right?
Well, I mean, in 18-month marriage, now I'll give Dolores credit. She be with these men for 2-3 years, and then it don't work out. And she's like, okay, I'm going to move on. But get another one in a hot minute. With money.
Dolores was my mother.
She dates below her worth. Every man she gets with buys her a house and buys her a car. I want her to teach a class. I want her to teach me how to talk, how to walk, and how to kegel.
Here's the thing. Dolores is my mother down to a T. Like she's been like, she divorced my father when I was like 2, but she's always been with a man like, and long-term boyfriends, like 5-6 years, but immediately in a month, she has someone. Obviously,
ain't nothing wrong with that. She don't let no grass go under her.
Obviously, there's men that are lined up saying, "I want that woman," and now she's married.
Learn something from your mama. Life is too short.
Exactly.
Please tell her to teach a class and get in my inbox and tell me where it is, because I need to learn how to pull that.
She always says, "Oh, I'm just nice and all." I'm like, Mama, stop.
I'm trying to elbow my way in here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'm just saying, as the white woman who might even be Dolores in 10, 15 years. No, I'm just kidding. I see Dolores. She came from Frank, who was cheating on her while she was pregnant. Remember all of the shenanigans? Her picker is off. If you look at her history, the man that she was committed to right before she got on the show was cheating on her. She broke up with him. So I think what I hate seeing for Dolores is that she does not want to be alone. She's constantly compromising and shaping herself to whatever partner she has. That seems like a good dude, definitely successful and has certain earmarks. And she definitely wants to get married. She says that over and over and over, constantly stalls and compromises. Everyone sees that's happening. It's become a whole thing. And then we see this scene that she has with Polly where she's like, I want to get married. And he basically tells her, don't hold your breath. And he's been clear from the right. So there's and also a woman who is beautiful, but constantly getting plastic surgery on Ozempic. Obsessed with how she looks. There's some deep self-esteem issues in there. The way that she loves to be Switzerland in the fights and never really get into it with people.
Yeah.
I love Black Dolores, but I haven't seen any evolution, and that's my one issue with her. I urge her. It's like, ma'am, stop picking these dudes that aren't giving you what you want. Show some growth because it's not working.
So, Alice, you want her gone?
Well, no, I'd like to see some.
Friend of the show.
I'd like to see her change. I don't necessarily. I like Dolores. I just want to see Dolores stop being, like rolled over by the red skin potato. Like I want to see. I want to stop this being her relationship being the center of her world, because it's not working. So show me what you want to do with your life, Dolores. What do you want to do? Other than,
I just have one piece of advice for Dolores, and that's stop being the store credit girlfriend.
Yeah.
I will say, Dolores.
Opposite around.
I can say this.
Men are just attracted to her.
I can say this as an East Coaster who's dated men like Dolores. Like when I was in my 20s, honey, I was pretty. That's when I moved. When you date wealthy men, and Candy Burris is a testament to this. She was like, wealthy men like that ain't looking for a woman with her own options or own opinion, which is why she changes herself to suit these men. Dolores will never date a man that ain't gonna buy her a house and a car.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, now I can't believe I'm quoting this idiot, but Dr. Phil said, when you marry for money, you earn every penny. And you do. Yeah. Dolores either has to let her man cheat in peace and buy you the shit you want to buy so you can shop in peace and spend in peace, or you're going to have to go down to a man with regular money, still probably going to cheat. Probably going to cheat. Let's be real. Let's put the blame on the penis where the blame belongs.
But won't be in your face about it, probably.
But you might have a better chance of finding a man that, actually finds being faithful of value if you widen your net outside of a certain subsect of men that have only gotten that wealth to have the option of women.
So the long and thin of it is, don't want dicks in yourself.
No, not don't want dicks in yourself. She only dates very rich men that are willing to spend on her. Ain't nothing wrong with it. But you got to deal with what comes with the territory.
Yeah, I think it's this part of this society that I'm not part of, but I think it's like a rule says like these men want women who not only lavish onto them willingly, but also knows that, hey, I'm going to do my own thing and I don't want any lip. And it's not like trying to say, oh, they're wildly disrespectful and they just take it. But it's obviously like there's a certain role that people like Black Dolores does that these men want her to follow.
And it's very much the East Coast wealthy Italian culture, very much like, as someone who lived in the tri-state for many years, it's what I like to call financial monogamy. A lot of couples have it.
Okay.
Where we ain't gonna fuck, she ain't gonna be rocking my VVS stones. She's not gonna be in my Park Avenue apartment, my house on the shore. Oh no, you get your own little spot down the shore. Wendy knew about that house that Kevin had because she knew she had a couple properties.
Ooh. Yeah.
Let's talk about, like, on the East Coast, on the West Coast, you'll have polyamory, you'll have swinger parties where everyone's much more open and honest.
Yeah,
like,
together.
We've been married for a couple years. Yeah, we gonna fuck other people. We still love each other. We're not fucking up the home. We ain't gonna mess, but that's how they do it out here. On the East Coast, it's much more quiet. You have your mistress on the other side. You don't have a family, but you have your mistress, especially at this age. You ain't getting nobody pregnant, and ain't nobody you messing with getting pregnant. But I mean, occasionally it happens. But you got your mistress on the other side of town, and maybe, instead of down at the shore so that you don't get caught, she's in Philadelphia, and you go for a golf weekend. That's de rigueur and par for the course. And if you're going to date men of means in that area, 9 times out of 10, that's what you're going to deal with.
Unless you're Gizzard and you're the
they see you coming. This man is paying for your car. This man has bought you a house. These are, shut up and let us live our lives. You're happy, I'm happy.
Yes. So I don't think, I like Black Dolores, even with all just centering around a man, like, oh, I want to get married, because I feel like she's not obnoxious with it. It's more sad. You know, I want better for her, and like I feel like there is men that she does know that want to marry her, but she doesn't want
to take care of. But also, Dolores is now a wealthy woman.
Exactly.
A lot of social.
Yeah.
So
she wants
has
to be
go
taken
up
care
now
of
more.
And yeah, Aaron said it best. She wants to be taken care of. And you know what I will say? I feel like Kathy Griffin got this right.
Mm-hmm.
She said, I don't need a man to take care of me financially. I need a man to take care of me emotionally.
And that will never happen on the East Coast, especially for
no, it will, but you gonna have to realize, like, you have to understand, like, you are in a very odd financial position. There are only there ain't even 200 housewives. So you're like, out of all the people in America, so you're in a very strange position. You basically hit the reality show lottery, that you were able to get on the show and stay on the show, make a mint off the show. But now, and have a conversation with Kandi Burruss about dating men that don't make as much as you.
Like marry a production assistant or a producer.
Exactly. Like, we ain't telling you to get with no slouch, but if you cast that dating net wider, if you're only dating men that, and also if they're trying to buy you cars, if they're trying to buy, they see you coming and they know, oh, okay, you're here for this. I'm here to not hear the nag. And if I want to cheat in peace, can we be consenting adults about it?
Also, this show is a double-edged sword for families, marriages, or relationships in general. And I feel like you said, follow what Kandi did and get a producer, because producers, they know how to be in the back but also take charge at the same time. A lot of these richer, especially older men, they want to feel like they're the ones driving, you know, the relationship or a family or what have you. But Real Housewives puts onus on the wives being the main star. And so that might conflict with that. And these women are going to gain an ego saying, oh, you know, I'm the star and everything, and everywhere I go, everyone's looking at me. That might rub people the wrong way. And it's like, it's just, it is wrong in my eyes a little bit that men can't support, you know, their wives or girlfriends like that. But at times it's like, it's been done like for years now.
It takes a certain type of man to want to nurture, to want to stand in the back and watch her flourish, and to also not be afraid that because of her flourishing, she will choose someone else.
A lot of people don't want to date these women also because of the public scrutiny. You know, if you're a successful businessman going on the show, they will get all up in every tax return, every bowel movement you've ever had in a public place. They will find the little scavengers that make money off of putting up little tidbits and story. It's the amount
very
of
true.
Scrutiny,
very
right?
True.
A lot of the women.
You can never make a mistake. You can never have an argument, because then it can become a plot line and you're like, I didn't agree for this to be on the show. This is something private between us. Even if it's something as simple as an argument about where we put the ottoman.
And active plot lines to break you up, to start rumors that your child is somebody else's, bloggers. You know, I mean, nonstop. And like and also
your relationship doesn't become your own property anymore.
No. So there's a lot of men that, especially if they have enough money to be like above what these women are earning, why they're like, no, thank you. I am not interested in being made a baboon's butt.
Yeah, that's what I was saying about this double-edged sword.
Aaron, you brought up another point. It cost more money to date these women.
Oh, yes.
Because now I got to ask this at 2 BravoCons, because y'all sent us to both. Thank y'all so much.
You're welcome.
I've gotten out of that foot. It's
one
really,
of the best investments I made last year.
Exactly. That
Y'all paid for
footage.
Fetch Happen. Y'all paid for Fetch Happen, everybody.
You and
I
Chris gave
watched
us
it for
our
2
money's
months
worth. I was
straight.
so
Oh,
proud.
oh,
you know
God,
you are in
thank
her
you.
nightmares. You know this, right? You know this.
I mean, how Kim Richards was just so breath.
Really rude about Teddy.
I'm sorry, you were not rude. I mean, how God gave you that chin is rude, Kim.
Yeah, Kim was playing that over and over just to cackling. You know
What's rude? Your husband leaving you. That's rude.
that was a mutual split. Like Kyle wanted to be part of the family, as we say. And
rude is leaving your husband for a lesbian after 25 years. That's rude. I just asked a simple question.
But
You
are
could
we
blame
shocked?
production.
are we
Rude is being sidelined by Bravo after umpteen seasons.
However, these women have to, like, when you see a party on Bravo, they don't pay for that. Like all them charity events, Bravo puts the bill for those. They do have to throw one dinner party that they pay for. So like when you see like Heather Dubrow throwing something from Nobu, that she actually paid for. When they go out, when they go out to eat, they don't pay for that. Like that's why they order so much. They don't pay when they go out to eat. That's always like they laugh, they make jokes about paying. That's production telling them to do that because production gets the tab for all of those meals.
Or like paying for your dignity.
Production pays for the trips. But the thing is, like, if you're the husband or the boyfriend, especially the boyfriend, you're not seeing any of that money.
Oh, yeah.
You got to go on the trip. Like, there are always out-of-pocket costs. And then, two, their clothing. All those high fashion. The first season, they give you a $200,000 clothing stipend. Your first season, I heard this from a housewife herself at BravoCon. It was that white one that was on, she was on New York, and then she was on a girls' trip. She's got the flat blonde hair.
Yeah, Alex something? The one with
not
the legs.
Alex. Not
Are you talking about Kristen Tankman?
Yes.
Oh, yes, her.
The white woman who knew how to marry well and shut up. I want to follow in her footsteps.
Smart.
Yeah, she survived the Ashley Madison thing by shutting up. Yep.
Oh, yeah, sure. She's like, you think you gonna fuck this up? Child, please.
Oh, she might have fight those women if they kept on going on about her marriage. She was like, no, ma'am.
Leave it alone. Leave it alone.
It was 8 years ago. I mean, they dug up. Yeah, because it's like, I'm not even on TV regularly, and you're going to dig up something that's like a decade old to like try and shame me. Yeah.
And all your husbands done cheated too.
Right. And you're all single. And you're all single, and I'm still married.
I've been showing up that ring so many times.
Like, I would say the party at Paulie's house, he paid for. So it's like if you start dating, if you start dating a woman, sure, you're going to take her out to nice dinners. You're going to take her on trips. Are you planning on spending $30,000 for a catered party so she can be on a reality show and you can look rich and quiet as it's kept? I bet you she tell them men, well, if you don't buy me a car, it might become a plot line on a show. So I suggest you get your ass to the Porsche dealership. They've already got you on film, sweetie.
Actually, quick question.
Now, if I was dating someone on a reality show, would I tell my man that?
Yes.
The first
no,
sentence.
because I know you never get anything out of squeezing it out of somebody, because then they'll snatch it right back.
But
I'll ask him for it at 5:30 in the morning when he's delirious. I know exactly when to get it out of him.
But Alex,
and now that we can order cars on our phone, I will be riding up and down saying, and press that button.
Well, you could get it on a lease, like how Kim Zolciak leases her units.
Oh, speaking of that, did you hear she's pregnant again?
Pregnant with what? Pregnant with what? She ain't pregnant. She got gas. And how's she getting pregnant at 62?
With regret. Pregnant with regret. No, but I did hear her child is going to be on a new Bravo spinoff with the children, I guess, who are adult enough to now get into the fray to be made fun of. Now, don't talk about the children. Well, now they've served themselves
They
up.
are old as sin. What you mean, children? Those are legal adults.
Well, I
I have
didn't
no
mean it like
interest.
that. I didn't mean
I
it like
have
that.
no.
I agree, ma'am. I agree. Thank you. Yes, but yeah, it's Riley and
I have no
Ariana.
interest. None.
Yes.
Brooks, Marks, I think Gia. Anyway, I
Oh,
don't either.
God.
Yeah, that's the new, you know,
The
the
lineup.
only thing that I would be mildly interested in maybe is hearing Ariana's opinion about her mother. But I mean, it's probably like I'm humiliated and here to work, but I'm keeping my money away from the creditors.
But
True.
these
I
are
mean,
kids who weren't interested when they want to show their parents.
thank
Wait,
you.
who's
That's
Ariana?
I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, Kim Zolciak is just hammer at the math.
Aaron, who is
Yeah.
Ariana?
Brielle's sister. Am I saying, is it Ariana?
Oh.
Yeah, it is.
Ari?
It is.
Is
Oh, I
it?
thought
Okay,
that
I'm
was
like,
like one of the
Yeah,
younger.
she's the youngest.
Brielle
Well, she's the youngest girl. Yeah.
of the.
'Cause when
She's
you-
the youngest of the first two. There's
Oh.
Brielle and Ariana.
Yep.
Because when you said debt, I thought, of a housewife. So I thought of Sonia Morgan because I know them people chased her out of every dime she got out of that man.
Oh, sure did. She just had
Yeah.
that auctioned off that home and apparently was such a drunken mess at Andy's reunion. Watch What Happens Live special.
Mhm.
I can't wait to see it. Like such a disaster right now, poor thing.
Yeah, Sonia, I think is
Not
in
doing
our
well.
tax bracket now because
Oh, God.
no, seriously, like
she's
I
regular
don't
people.
think
Oh my
Sonia
God,
is-
Sharkeisha!
Sharkeisha, no.
I think Sonia just is definitely not financial savvy. She's staying in New York in one of these townhomes now, townhouses, right?
No, she has an apartment, the townhome that she got out of the divorce. That
It's
was kind of
sold.
one of her best assets. It
Mhm.
auctioned off
Well,
for like
See
so
what I mean?
under value.
It
Well,
sold for $4.5 million. I mean, quiet.
Chump
If I had
change.
known it was gonna go that low, I would have. Hell, I would have gone to
Yeah.
subscribers. We could have pooled our money and bought
Exactly.
Yeah,
got
wasn't
you
it
the
like
BravoCon,
originally
that's, like,
like
halfway
12 or
there.
18? Wasn't it originally like 12 or 18?
It was like
something?
supposed to be 17.
Yeah.
and
Ooh.
I
Ooh.
Yeah, it was
What-
like it was supposed to be like it's a townhouse in the city that went for 4.5. I'm like, apartments go for that.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Studio apartments.
I mean, how
Not
desperate
next
you have to be?
No, oh my bad.
Yeah, right. Well, I heard it's right next to a parking garage, and like there's just a lot of I this is where
It's still Midtown East in New York. Like it like that's what even a tear down would go for more. I've seen tear downs in San Francisco go for more.
For those who are unfamiliar with that side of New York, is that like the rich place of New York?
It's where you start getting wealthy.
Well,
now, here are the wealthy areas in New York. You have the Upper East Side, which is from, I would say, let's see, you've got Fifth Avenue, Park Avenue, and Lexington. You've got those streets, and that's from, I would say, maybe 65th on up.
Mm-hmm.
She's below 65th, and she's still near Bloomingdale's. Like it's still a high-end area. Like, no, you're not Turtle Bay. Now that's also the East Side, but that's in like the 40s. But oh my God, that is expensive. Sutton Place, that's expensive. Places you ain't heard of, that's where the real money at.
Wow.
And my point is freaking Sonia. I feel like at this stage in her life, she shouldn't be going. I feel like she's spiraling financially. Like
she's been, but yes.
No, you can't marry a Morgan. You can't marry the bank. And then he left you with nothing. He left that kid with nothing. And honestly, what she should have done was get off one coot and get on another one.
Exactly.
While she still had some good traction left, while she still had a few years left of her thighs, she should have found another coot. But I think because she shot so high, she girl balls too close to the sun, everybody knew you were a trollop because, the rumors about you cheating on your husband lean large, and wealthy men, the last thing they want is a cheating heifer that's going to embarrass them.
Like, that's my job, damn it.
Yep.
Well, we all seen what happens when she gets to a certain level of drunk. Her coochie just comes flying out.
Yeah, like she's not that,
legs in the air on the table at the restaurant kind of stuff where
and
you're
that's
like,
embarrassing. Like,
yeah, that's very embarrassing.
Yeah. I mean, when she hit that glass table at that trip where they were in Florida,
that was scary.
Oh man.
And it's like, I don't want this for her.
Nobody likes to watch that. Well, that's part of why they
because in this economy, like if you fall down too many tax brackets, you're never going to recover. I don't care how rich you are, especially if you are a woman that is just only marrying for money.
Well, now hold on.
I don't see her.
Now, here's the thing. Sonia is a blonde white woman in America with connections. What we're not going to do is infantilize her because what she has is more financial hope than all of us. Ain't no diss to present company, but let's be real. True. She can still find some coot to get on a yacht with. She simply has to change her game. There are a lot of men that are, much closer to the grave that she can sidle up to. Now has to become someone that can provide companionship. Maybe she needs to be like Luann, get that nursing degree.
Mm-hmm.
She does have her own tour like Luann. It's a cabaret, that crap she does where she just gets on stage and acts crazy. And the thing is, she can go and do that like Luann because there are avenues for her. Alex, exactly to what you said. She has plenty of celebrity privilege, white woman privilege, all rich white woman privilege, all of that crap to go on and be able to do enough to support herself. The problem is that she's canceling shows. She's had to be escorted off the stage early. So right now, she's not in good shape. So unfortunately, it sounds like she needs to go sit down somewhere and get some healing.
Off stage early.
Yeah.
It's like, man, let's get out. Let's get out. Your drink is on the
back. And when you're like freeballing your show to begin with, and you're too hammered to be able to finish, that you have to be escorted off the stage, you need some healing. Okay. So and that's kind of, I think it goes back. Yes.
Speaking of healing, I saw an article about Monica.
I think I saw the same one.
Do we think, now that it's been a couple of months, are we ready to invite Monica back?
Fuck no. Nope.
No.
Sorry. I can curse, right?
Well,
F-U-C-K, no.
Wasn't she at the Megan Thee Stallion concert this past weekend?
How did she afford tickets?
What?
I promise. I feel like
she scammed her way in there. I
saw her take pictures with Megan.
She wore a mustache to let security let her.
She replicated somebody's wristband. She licked a stamp and shoved it on her own hand. She pretended to be someone else. She took somebody's driver's license. Come on now, this is reality Von Teese. That woman that's the woman that had. What did she have? That credit card that that declined, that was the chime or some shit like that. This is a woman that's very industrious.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Right?
There is a will, there is a way.
Wasn't surprised she was able to scam her way onto the Housewives of Salt Lake City. I'm not surprised she made it to Megan Thee Stallion.
And honestly, I think that should be a shot in the arm to all of us. Let's start applying for jobs we are not quote unquote qualified for.
Because one of these suckers are going to accept it.
I swear, you know what? I'm going to start lying on my resume because.
Just believe your own lies. Just believe in yourself. I'm telling. That's what she is a prime example of. As many of these women are actually, because you do have to be delusional to be doing this and loving it the way that they do for our entertainment, because they're literally willing to become a disaster on television to hang on for our viewing pleasure. So I do give it to all of them. Thank you for your services.
Well, Monica was a mess on and off the show, and she looks like a tall Ariana Grande anyway. I mean, there's been no evolution in her at all. So why the fuck would you bring her back for?
Because she came to work
I guess the fall
there
another
is a
flight of
level
steps
like
down the
now
stairs
that
of
we
life.
like. Here's the thing: what would Salt Lake City have been without all of Monica's drama? Without screenshots, timeline, receipts, everything. What would like that? You know that like I'm not going. That like was a refreshment of Housewives, where it's like, okay, they can still cast some bitches. All right, we ain't done yet. We ain't dead yet.
That was a surprise.
There is a level of we like couldn't have, and they kept it quiet. Couldn't have seen it from out of left field.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think it might be like a trick you can only pull once, but
I push. I'll have Monica.
Monica's like
Monica
Hera,
on a
like
golf trip.
you get that high one time, and you're just rushing to get it again.
But it's dirty, you know, because like
and it's not a good high because
that's what I
when
mean.
you go back and look back, and it's like, damn, girl, like you ain't shit.
That actually goes to what I was thinking about why I wouldn't want to bring Monica back as well, is that once you have a deep level of distrust with your castmates where you genuinely believe that they're willing to do anything to create a storyline, to dig up things about you, to twist things about you, which I think is kind of what's going back to the Danielle and Jennifer Aiden argument of why Danielle felt so betrayed. It's like when you see someone doing their best to manipulate whatever they can, then it's no longer a fun show. It's an adversarial show. It's Love and Hip Hop. It's Basketball Wives. It's
it goes very quickly.
Yeah, we're engaged in strategy, and you lose some of what is supposed to be the inherent magic of this group of affluent women who are living an aspirational lifestyle that are all related and friends somehow, and have these connections and hold it together and have the resolutions at the end with the reunion and go on to stay friends, right? That's unraveled before our eyes. Nobody's friends on Jersey. Well, there's two camps, you know, like it's getting, and the level of like hatred and violence towards one another has simply been escalating season after season. Remember when Teresa shoved all of those glasses at Margaret before she got married?
Or flip that table?
Right. See, so it's like we forget. Like there's so many we forget. Like remember when they like I said, they fought. Joe and Joe fought at the baby shower. Joe and Joe fought at the family retreat. Remember? Joe and Joe.
A baby shower.
Yes, I mean like I said,
fighting. I thought it was foreplay.
Well, you know, as they say, fucking
for
fighting,
Joe
right?
Or Teresa?
You know, for the Joes. You know, but like I just anyway, my point is we forget more than we remember the amount of times that they were violent on Jersey.
But to circle even more, there's a reason why some women, like, because I think Too Feisty mentioned this, you should not be saying, oh, I would never work with someone and all that, and be like, no, you are on the show to interact with these women, get back on stage. But to back on Psychic's point, it's like when you are in a room with a person or even multiple people that are okay with destroying everything you have, why would I really want to interact? Even if I could gain so much, it's like, no.
But you know what though? There's a big distinction. There's a distinction from like what a Giselle does. Is like, well, I don't like the fact that you threw shade at me, so I'm going to ice you off the show. That's totally different than doing all of these diabolical things that could really cause a nasty ripple effect in somebody's real life, not just in terms of the dynamics on the show. It's not the same. And when the entire cast feels that way about one person, it just doesn't work. It brings a nasty energy onto the show. Nobody can really relax and interact and have fun. Everybody's always on edge. And it no longer makes it fun for us to watch.
Yes.
Yeah, you were very right. And
on stage, it does become bullying.
Yeah, I think that's why Jersey's so different, because violence is such a standard for the show. Like, if you're not someone who's able to intimidate someone else, I don't think this show's for you. I think you need to go back to New York. because they will actually just be like passive aggressive. These women are aggressive. What, breaking news?
I don't think you're ready for this.
No, what? I don't like this. My
Oh my
phone's
God, I'm
away.
scared. What happened?
Bring it to us, Alex.
Kim Zolciak's making a comeback to our screens. Surreal Life Villa of Secrets premieres Tuesday, July 23rd at 9 p.m.
Andy Cohen, I am going to fight you. I hate
MTV.
Oh.
Oh, they
no.
do stuff like that over there.
Oh.
I heard she filmed this. She filmed it last year, I think. Well.
Was this before or during the?
Oh, during. Oh no, in the heat of it, in the thick of it. So this will be hotness, Zolciak.
I love white on white crime.
Oh my Lord! Listen, it's so in the trailer. Oh my Lord! It is as cheap as the wig that Kim had on season 1.
Okay, I'm going to watch this.
Yeah, I do. The Surreal Life. Oh man, I mean, because I do totally tangent far beyond what we've been discussing, but I do genuinely miss like the VH1.
Those camp reality shows, me too.
Yes,
I love Surreal Life. I love Fat Camp. No, not Fat Camp. Celebrity Fit Club.
Yes.
Guys, I just binged Flavor of Love last week just for nostalgic reasons. I love that era of VH1. I truly did.
Yeah.
They had nothing to lose.
And Celebrity Rehab. Was it MTV it was VH1 Celebrity Rehab, right? And then like Couples Retreat and like, so you had all of the, and the Surreal Life when you get
That's when VH1 and MTV were different channels that gave you different things rather than being owned by the same company where it's like, oh, it's the same. Oh,
they were picking those people up straight from rehab. They were picking those people up straight from rehab, taking them to Surreal Life. It was like, okay, we're gonna give you some challenges.
Oh my God!
Like remember Flavor Flav still had his orange jumpsuit on.
Yes. Burn on his scooter. Oh my goodness. Oh,
these were the days where it was proper MTV, not just endless marathons of Teen Mom.
Listen, I just the nostalgia. I love the arc.
We used to be a proper country. We used to be.
Yeah, and our reality TV, if it was going to be wild and crazy and have a sense of fun, it did, and then we could let it go, because that was the good thing about those short run shows. You knew all of those stars were together filming for a couple of weeks. It was this weird little side trip that they were all taking. You got a peep into a bunch of different people's lives, and it was very, very fascinating. And then they were done, and they went on to their own continued disasters or successes. And I think that's what they're coming back with Traitors and with House of Villains and all of these things. So I'm here for it, because I think we do need to transition out of some of these long-term franchises like Jersey, New York, all of the Housewives the long-standing franchises, and not just Housewives on Bravo, are showing fatigue because the model isn't necessarily working.
Yeah, because all these women, they're trying to be a Nene, a Teresa, a Sonia, like the main girl, but in early Housewives, they all knew their roles, quote unquote, and it's like, okay, I'm not the main girl, but I'm going to give you something else. I'm going to give you maybe bubbly personality. I'm going to give you maybe a villain edit, or I'm going to give you someone who's a mediator that everyone likes and that will listen. But now it's like, no, I'm going to be the main star. And it's like, no, you are, background character number 2 in this fight, and you're going to stay that way. So I don't know why you try to be any different.
I was parrot what Erin said. I mean, we need to have like Atlanta and New York go out to pasture and bring in like a New Orleans or a Philadelphia Housewives.
Like Detroit, maybe Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago too.
Or just maybe some more girls trips, some more crossovers, some short term where you get a lot of interaction. But please go ahead.
Like a Married to Medical Housewives crossover would be fantastic.
I think an opportunity is here across multiple platforms. I was talking to a friend of mine, and I was saying how, Nene has this new show coming. And I was, I watched Lifetime. I was one of the girls in middle school watching the movies, I watch the shows. I watch Strong Medicine. I watched Any Day Now. Like Lifetime was my channel, middle school, high school. So, but we haven't seen any real good like between scripted programming and reality shows. I also like Little Women in Atlanta as well. They don't really have much going on over there. And I'm like, listen, because I love Nene. You had a lot of ideas that you gave to Bravo that you did not get any real credit for. Now is your time. You need to like, girl, start a production company. I mean, it's long overdue. Start a production company, come up with some ideas, put some things on paper, get with the right people, because they don't have any real big showrunners over there. And I really feel like, you know, now with Mona taking a step back and she's not over the day-to-day stuff with Love and Hip Hop. Love and Hip Hop is not even on VH1 anymore. Like, didn't it move to MTV? It's time for somebody else to step in, because for the longest time, those guys that I don't know the name of production company off the top of my head, but those guys that were doing the Surreal Life and Flavor of Love and Rock of Love and Daisy of Love and I Love Money, they had a great reign over there on VH1. And then Mona came in and she had a great reign on VH1. It's time to bring in the next person to do their thing. It just seems like nobody wants to step up, because we complain about these shows, but as tired as these casts are, the production is so lazy now.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
The production is so lazy. They used to really have some great production on these shows. Like, you know, like I said earlier, I just binge watched Flavor of Love, and just the little small nuances, like when Heidi would blink her eyes and they would do those like those cash register noises and stuff. Like, we don't even see them be fun and stuff in the editing room anymore. It's just so lame.
Yeah, it's like very bare bones editing. The camera work is so like, it's just not, I wouldn't say amateur. I feel like they have gotten proficient enough to be like, okay, we've been on for how many decades? Like 2 at least, right? Some of these productions for Housewives, right?
Yes. Let me take you back. Do you guys remember that scene when Mariah and Quad were going back and forth, and it was like throwing tomatoes from the chariot? That music that they had playing and the way Quad gave that monologue, we don't get the drama like that anymore, like the fun drama.
Throw tomatoes with you, sweetheart. And yeah, it's like, I feel like the music is very stocky, like stock footage, you know. And I'm not interested for the performance anymore with Bravo as a whole, really. Like, even their other side projects, it's like very I'm not interested.
We're having a bit of a dead summer, aren't we?
Wait, speaking of Bravo's side projects, while I have everybody on the line, now that Martha's Vineyard has ended. Ooh, girl, tell me more.
What was that MT remember with Drag Race? They were playing at the same time, and Drag Race had to be like,
the
Men of Hollywood or something.
Yes. Of Hollywood.
Yeah,
something
it gave
of Hollywood.
that, and I was like, nah, not for
something
me.
of WeHo. I don't know.
Real Gays of WeHo.
Yeah, it gave that, and I was just like, no. I'm about to be 30. I want my time, used wisely.
Damn.
That was the show with Todrick, right?
That's what I said when I watched it. I'm like, damn.
Yes, it was.
Well, no, but
Todrick and Brad Goreski.
Feisty, did you see Summer House Martha's Vineyard, and what did you think about that Black Bravo effort?
I still want justice for Blood, Sweat, and Heels. Bravo has had a pattern of behaviors that's very questionable. It's not just having
that face.
A pattern of behaviors that's been very questionable. It's been very questionable.
What was questionable?
The pattern of behaviors from Bravo when it comes to the Black shows. It's not new.
Well, hold on now. Blood, Sweat, and Heels. We can't say justice for Blood, Sweat, and Heels. Blood, Sweat, and Heels ended because Daisy sadly passed away. And the show never...
No, Alex, that's not what happened. It happened because of Demetria hitting Melissa with that bottle.
Mhm.
Daisy
Yes,
passed away
Yeah.
like 2-3 years later.
I think the death happened like after.
It
right?
was some years. They had stopped airing the show when Daisy passed away because we didn't find out. No, Daisy was diagnosed with cancer while they were filming season 2, in between season 1 and season 2. But she did not pass away from it until like 2-3 years after the fact. It wasn't on the show when she passed. What happened was Demetria and Melissa got into that altercation, and she hit Melissa with that bottle, and Melissa sued.
Yeah, she cracked her head open.
Personally,
even Pearly Bravo was like, whoa.
I think they should have just taken a hiatus and then recast some of those girls. I really think they should have got Demetria since she was a liability. I think they could have maybe survived without Melissa and Demetria because we all know Michael was the star of the show.
It was Geneva. It wasn't Demetria.
Yes, I said Demetria. That's what I meant. Geneva. Yes, Geneva.
Oh, and Demetria would be mad at you for saying that about her.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I did get the names mixed up, but no, it wasn't because a lot of people think it's because Daisy died. It wasn't because of that. Daisy died years later.
Mm-hmm. Also, I feel like Blood, Sweat, and Heels is a show that could have had a rotating cast, anyways. You know, I feel like
just pioneers. They got mishandled. I'm sorry, I ran over you. I just think that they were an early. What?
A bunch of single girls in New York. They could have rotated that out every year. If
That's
they
what
wanted
I meant. Like,
I agree. Oh no, I agree. I just think they were part of they were the pioneer. They were before Summer House. They were before Vanderpump Rules, or around. Weren't they? I'm like, because I just feel like they were one of the pioneers of that type of show, and so unfortunately, the way that violent act, which I mean, that one's pretty bad. If you crack someone's head open with a bottle, I do understand why everybody was a little bit like, but I also agree that they could have easily recast and kept going.
I mean, if RHOP could survive what Michael Darby did, then they could have survived.
Yeah,
all they need to do was recast the show.
Needs to be like fired.
They always do that to those black side shows because I'm not going to forget how they tried to sabotage Married to Medicine. Why would you put a reality show on a Friday night?
I remember that. Oh my God. No, I swear, Bravo had us jumping through hoops because I was living in New York at the time, and thank God I had it on DVR because it went from Sunday to Thursday to Friday to Saturday. They had us, we was like, we didn't know, but we were in our auntie era. So it was, baby, we get home on the weekend and we stay home. So if it's Friday night, oh great, I got my
Married to Medicine got lucky because they could have really killed them because they were giving them times where it's a death sentence to these shows.
Yes, they were moving it to weird nights. And then they didn't have any lead-in as well too. Normally, the good shows would get a lead-in from like a Housewives show. They weren't getting the lead-in, and then they also weren't like telling the cast when they were going to start filming. They would film, and it would be months before they would air. They wouldn't even know when the show was going to air. They tried to sabotage that show. They really did.
Something.
I will say too, because for a minute I thought Married to Medicine was strong enough where they were trying to do like a Black Bravo mature ladies Friday night, where it's like I was happy when everybody was mad that Married to Medicine was on Friday. I was like, no, thank God. That way I can do Atlanta on Sunday, Married to Medicine on Friday, devote the time each show needs, because that's when it was juicy.
Yeah, wasn't that when that lady's husband was like, quote unquote,
Jaron Noggle?
Yes. That was that time.
The second he said husband, I knew he could only be
Alex.
The one and only. The one and only.
When you see family, don't you?
What?
That is.
You know when you see family?
That is the exact reason.
Noggle.
I saw family when I saw Darren Noggles. Like,
I recognized that walk. I was like, "Ooh, stepping just like me."
That is the exact reason why I will never let them victimize Lipton. I will never let them victimize Lipton.
Oh,
nobody got it worse on that show than Lisa Nicole Cloud. They took Lisa Nicole Cloud through. Do not complain to P about anything that Lipton is experiencing when you have not walked the shoes of Lisa Nicole Cloud.
She went through it. Oh, she went through it.
They wore her out.
Bravo, Andy and Bravo were having a hoot, just like, oh, we just. It's like every franchise, there's one person that they're saying we're going to fuck you up.
No, Lisa.
It went on for seasons.
Yes.
Lisa messed with Heavenly. 2, Lisa, you came on that show married to a full. How did you think we weren't going to know? I think that's also what happened to Family Karma. Too many people were like, why is Vishal
yes, my ass
woman?
Alex, you starting in the middle. You starting in the middle. Lisa's biggest mistake was running that background check on Quad and dangling in her face like it was a carrot, because Quad told her, well, since you ran one on me, I'm going to run one on you. And that was the start of the drama for her. After that, that's when
not Lisa. Lisa, that's my girl.
The cheating rumors came out. Then the guy approached Quad saying, well, why is he saying this when he's sleeping with me? All of that stuff started happening. Then the guy did
the bottom. Well, honestly,
and then the guy did interviews on YouTube. And then remember that voicemail, the voicemail came out with Lisa cussing him out and saying, tell her you don't want to be with her. Tell her you choosing your thing.
Hey, I respected Lisa for that, because I would be irritated with all the shenanigans on that show happening to me and my husband too. I would have been like, okay, now
Darren Noggles is a light-skinned man with an S curl. That is everybody's man.
Oh,
yeah, he is.
Don't forget that Mo. Don't forget that Mo.
Oh, I know
that Mo out together and separately. Then him and his mole play together and separately. If you know, you know. I know Liam laughing at that one.
But back to Family Karma, that the guy with the IBS, I thought I was gay. But I met my match. I was like, oh, this is who I want to be when I'm like, a good 35 to 40. I'm like, I like how you walk.
And let's have an honest moment. Like, they're not living in their truth. At least we ain't. Like, Monica's father who divorced, like, I'm not going to say these men are homosexual.
Bisexual, at least.
But they don't read as heterosexual. And we as the American audience will say the same thing about American people. We'll be like, no, that I know, we know what we know. I was out with my friend, and we went and we was at the steak restaurant, and I said something assuming our waitress was a lesbian, and she was dressed as a lesbian. And he said, oh, you shouldn't assume. And I said, I know grass green when I'm looking at it. Like, I don't know if you know, but we all like all that tie buttoned up. Okay.
I mean, yes, this Family Karma is a very conservative, like, it's very weird. Sometimes Bravo has these, cultures that are very, like, Bravo's very open about being, quote unquote, like a very gay, queer show, or friendly at least. But they will sometimes bring cultures like, what was that one, Shahs of Sunset? Even though they have a full gay man out, he had a whole problem with his culture and being, more open and out.
Well, I think I think that's one of the cool things about what Bravo has done with Family Karma and was doing with Shahs, is showing that, like, these are issues in these cultures. Like in traditional cultures. Growing up in LA, two of my best friends, one was Persian, Iranian like Shahs, and was Indian like Family Karma. And so seeing people struggling with that was like something very real that's happening for a lot of people. And I thought it made really compelling TV, right? I think one of the problems was Vishal was clearly like was an alcoholic. Like, remember his wedding disaster? I think there were just a lot of things with. Yeah, I just think there was a lot of Mike Showhead is now on camera assaulting police.
Yes,
it got too dark. Too dark.
Oh,
but I'll also say Vishal, like, I think Vishal's alcoholism was brought on by the fact that he couldn't be out.
I was gonna say, I think there's a lot of different things on Family Karma, but I think like, and then the other chick that got married but wouldn't show her husband and was like living in Arizona. I mean, I just think they maybe had some problems with casting and production. I don't know. I liked that show. I'm kind of bummed.
I'll also say I think Mercedes was giving me full-on peppermint patty. It was giving me these kids are being forced to an arranged marriage, and I kind of think they were hoping the show would get them out of it, but the families were like, no, there's a lot of inheritance involved. Everybody's living on compound, so there's money to be lost, and it's
or just reputation.
Like you could definitely tell too, the kids that were gay were definitely treated differently.
It was a big issue. Yeah.
Yeah.
So freaking like, because Bravo is, you've got like Andy at the fucking helm. It was, okay, look, if we're not going to actually talk about what's real and the audience isn't going to believe the reality you're giving us, because y'all are great actors. Like, y'all should have just gone on and done a Bollywood scripted series. And then, like, and then maybe you could have acknowledged it as characters. But unless Vishal was going to come out and Monica's Pappy was going to come out. And also, Monica's Pappy, I'm a 41-year-old man. I've seen men like Monica's Pappy before.
Like a gay man that has realized, like, I am too old and too tired.
But he was out.
Try to be out.
He was out.
What was going to happen was one of his grinder hookups was going to out him. I'm sorry. I know men like that are conservative, that, even in their older age, they will never really take a part. Somebody was going out. I could see that too. I could see somebody outing Vishal. Like, I'm sorry, Vishal ain't no stranger. His mouth is no stranger to a penis.
Because that's the thing, though. Like, there were
allegedly.
Allegedly.
This to me screams that, because we all know a few guys in our life that will say that they're bi-curious, or they're or they will say that they're bi in their younger years will go back to being straight.
Which is sad, because I feel like those people, like, I don't mean those men anymore.
Oh, like, I know what you. And these men will wander. Like, I live in California, where I have child. Heterosexual is not even a thing out here. It's it's like these men say I'm straight because they want a challenge.
Yeah, but I find those men
straight men at gay bars just wandering it.
I was my girlfriend,
There's a big ass flag out front, but you have no idea.
It's also prevalent in New York and across Europe as well.
Oh yeah.
What?
It's prevalent in New York and across Europe as well.
Oh, Germany has those discotheques.
Yeah, I mean, you got a lot of like straight men who say that, straight men who, like I said, that they were like bi in their teenage years or the younger years, and they'll like be straight now, but they're still like
Heterosexuality is such a social construct. If straight women really knew the conversations we had,
I'm sorry, sexuality and gender identity
if y'all knew, because especially now that I'm in California, I'm like, oh, there really is no such thing as straight men.
No, it's like, here's the thing. I've always been a firm believer, and I say this true, Harlan, and apologies means any offense to anyone, but sexuality and gender are both lies that have been portrayed for thousands of years.
I mean, that's a long ass time for a lie, but yeah, I feel like gender is a very, like, gender changes. Like, what is a man changes from what.
No, because people confuse gender with sex. Like, astronomically, as my sex, I am male.
That's a different thing.
But gender is a social construct. It's a social lie.
It's true.
I mean, but
sexuality applies too.
Got quiet.
Because I'm listening. No, Alex just said that if you only knew the conversations we had, I'm trying to hear these conversations.
Right? So you know what? Listen. Right? Thank you, Matt. I'm like high-fiving over here next to you, like,
And
it's also
ain't that much difference between California men and men on the East Coast. They have nothing but location.
It's just a different accent. Like, but I would say this finally for Family Karma. I just feel like it's like almost like trying to force someone to out themselves because I feel like they're so scared.
They
that
put
it's
themselves
like
on.
I don't want to
a
be like
Oh.
forcing someone like, hey, you're gay, you're gay, you're gay, and it's like, dude,
But
you just need to be
you
honest
know
with
what? I can understand. And as a kid that grew up gay, that everybody knew, that was like I heard that. There was a big difference though between hearing that from people where it was just my life and it's like, okay, everybody's seeing this. I don't know this about myself. Then being a grown grass man, signing contract after contract, profiting and planning to profit more off of a TV show where you're showing yourself, and now the audience don't believe your lie. You signed up. I didn't sign up to be teased in school. I didn't sign up. They signed up to put their selves and their perceived bisexuality. Like you needed to run that by some test audiences and
therapy, really,
and ask some questions before you put that on national television. Because everybody's like, oh, I know gay, and that's
Yeah, because now
but you signed up for, and the thing is, you didn't just sign up for it. It took you a minute to get that on TV. Then you did it for another 2 seasons trying to get some money. So
no, he also threatened someone for like even questioning it. Yeah, that first season
he did. He was like almost violent.
Who wasn't even trying to be anything like malicious. He would just be like,
everybody knew.
Yeah, everyone knew. And it's like you're now threatening people physically, and it's like so that's when my sympathy goes out the window. It's like, oh, now you want to be homophobic to protect yourself, like a Republican senator.
But also, can I just briefly say this? Because I live in a community where there's a lot of like conservative people, particularly amongst Asians and Middle Eastern people. Like, even just talking about like being closeted or being outed or being like, it is such a taboo. So they are societally pressured and built in to go off like that. I'm not saying I'm not just giving a justification of it, but I've seen it in person where those sort of people will retaliate with that particular force when that is questioned.
That's why I was saying, like, I feel sympathy in the beginning, be like, obviously he's pressured, but when you're including yourself in that societal pressure in its violence, I can't justify that. Or like, I'm not saying you are.
I completely
but it's
agree.
just like, damn, man, you could be, because he's not in a community, because there's so many of his friends are out. That little boy was a family friend. They all accepted him. So he's not in this like very tight conservative community where
what
face physical retaliation. He's just
it could still be retaliation, because what I will say is there is a difference in how that kid was treated behind the scenes versus on camera.
True.
They knew on an American show, they knew, oh, this isn't going to get aired if we do this. So there's a lot of go along to get along, but there's also a lot of behind the scenes sucking of teeth and low insults and
tension in the room.
There's a lot of ostracizing and shunning that can.
But that's like for his aunts and uncles. His friend group is not like that at all.
Is that a real friend group? The relationships ain't real. I don't know what the friend group is. I think they know each other. I think the parents' friendships were real. Kids, they were kids that like, okay, we grew up around each other. Like there's a level of we're cool, but I don't know if I'm really up your butt like that.
Yeah.
I cannot pronounce your name, but you said outing people is not cool. I agree with that. But when you are grown, you are over 25, you can make decisions and did make decisions for yourself.
Yeah.
To put yourself what Nisha's husband didn't get on that show. He said, "Off the fuck on, you ain't putting like whatever he was. Like if he had been white, he was like, I ain't going through that. If he had been, if he had anything in his past, he wasn't going through that. He said, you won't know who I am. I'm not dealing with your judgment."
And she said, I don't care if I'm on the show or not. I'm not outing him because I've been wanting to be married so bad. And this fool married me. I mean, think about how bad all of those women were trying to get married again. That culture is very conservative. Think about the fact that, like, you know, even having their religious ceremonies, like how taboo that was when they were getting married.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of deep-seated, just having like grown up with like good friends that are like from that culture. There's a lot of, the bottom line in that culture is that if you are not traditionally heterosexual, cisgendered, and successful, you are a disappointment.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because Indian culture has points of queer like understandings and such as well.
Throughout their culture is queer understanding. I mean, the Hydra, the third gender, has been renowned for millennia, and also like if you look at a deep root of Indian culture, as I have Indian neighbors, their culture has a lot of LGBT representative, but it's been quashed under the British regime.
Yeah, I was about to say that too. Like,
I want to.
It's like an elephant in the room.
You got on a show as a grown person.
Yes.
And you like also you're grown. Like really, everybody was in their 30s.
Very grown.
Very late 20s.
Yeah.
So like Brian knew he is perceived as heterosexual and attractive. Vishal has heard you're gay before. It ain't nothing new. Ain't what? Nothing
new. And if you can't go on, you need to be able to hear about yourself to be successful on reality TV. If you can't hear what the public is going to perceive about you and survive it, you're not cut out for it.
If you haven't been to therapy for a good number of years.
Listen, if you're so sensitive that kind of stuff could crush your ego, it's not for the weak. It's not for the weak. It's not even for the strong.
But also, it's not outing.
Make you weak.
It's not outing if every gay person sees you and is like, oh, and a whole bunch of men that are like, yeah, I had to get divorced. I know exactly what he's going through. Are writing think pieces about you on Twitter.
Exactly.
And it's like, I'm sorry. We're talking, you put yourself on display. It's not like you were walking down the street or I met you, up for some gay tryst and then I ran and told you business. You put your business in the street for money.
For a quick interview.
Like, and also y'all own the production company. This is another thing where we can't also Bravo, their hands are clean. Y'all shot this show to their ass. You had like all the production company was their extended family. They owned production. So y'all owned what you put out. Y'all tried to be on your twist Kris Jenner, but you didn't know, we gonna see all the gays in your family tree because we like to pluck the fruit.
Did you guys hear about the it was like a Jewish matchmaking show? Like Orthodox Jews and all that. Anyways, it's basically the same thing. I have friends like who's a friend of the production team, and they're basically doing the whole thing as well. It's like, oh, tight-lipped, no one's gonna find out kind of thing, but it's like,
oh, please, we see it through the screen.
Exactly. It's like
the second Vishal swished on screen, I was like, oh, he's walking just like me with an undulation.
But it's like Vishal is like, I feel sadness for him, but it's like we can't be making these excuses, and especially in this climate of like where our rights might be taken away. I feel like it's just I don't feel like having this undertone of conservative society forcing someone to be straight is like,
oh, you really hit a nail on the head.
That's why I'm trying to say it's like these cultures, like, yes, it's great to see them and to like see the difference in nuances and like their struggles and all that. But at the end of the day, we still have to say, like, as fans, especially queer, straight, or whatnot, if we're seeing some bullshit, we have to call it out because it's just going to reinforce it.
Yeah.
And because Bravo has such a gay and gay friendly audience, where I mean, a lot of, like, let's talk about how Portia went from I would never kiss a woman to Candice said you was begging to eat my cooch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a very homophobic like season. Like I have to say, because it's
mean, all the Housewives have had some homophobic moments,
but that season especially,
and
like
some
the underlying
moments.
Oh, sure have
some lesbonics.
That's why I like Candice so much. It's like,
we aren't afraid, because the audience for Bravo has already been trained to call out the homophobia and the moments of lesbonics, where Andy will ask, "Who swum in the lady pond?" The women will be honest about
Candice like me.
Yeah.
So because of that, it's like, well, y'all, like, if you're coming into this space where this has already been established, you have to play by these same rules. And if you want to pretend we're going to treat you how we treated Drew when she wanted to say, "Oh, I never kissed Toya," but then we have you on camera.
Roll the clip.
Roll the beautiful clean footage. So when there's it's like, well, look, like if it's good for the goose, we do it to white women.
Mm-hmm.
We do it to white women.
We'll do it with your brown ass too.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
I'm talking about
I didn't say that. Didn't say that. But we do it. It's like you're coming into a very gay friendly space. Mm-hmm. It's like it's okay to have these conversations. Now, if you don't think so, then this probably isn't the space for you. And you shouldn't have put again, this is where it's like, you can't say he was outed, because I'm sorry, all the work you and your family did to get this show on Bravo, you weren't smart enough to think people gonna know
you catapulted yourself.
Yeah. Another thing is,
into the public sphere. And that's the thing. People are going to see your nooks and your crannies. You might be dressed, but people will know that you look like naked.
But people weren't even malicious in the beginning, because
I don't think people were malicious at all. Now, here's the thing. I don't think people were malicious at all.
We're just that's a gay man.
People don't like their intelligence insulted. It's the same thing with, and now you got to be very careful with saying a woman is pregnant. But there is something innate in humans. Now, you don't notice how there's no gender and even age on that. We can tell when a woman is pregnant. It is just something where it's like, oh my God. Even when it's in its smaller stages, there's the glow description. Mm-hmm. People can tell. It is now, is it right to comment on a woman's fertility? No. But there is a level of, don't tell me I'm not looking at something when I know I'm looking at it. Like when Black people get very upset when other Black people try to pass. Like there is a level of, it's not the, I want to out you, it's don't insult my intelligence. Yeah. I know what I'm looking at.
Or you're sitting at a table with mothers saying that, I'm like 6 months pregnant and I'm like 7. Phaedra.
Yeah. Can I just pose this to all of you? And I'm sorry, this is a second right to an old conversation, but with the whole outing situation, does it hurt more if you out as a child like I was, or out as an adult like this person was?
I don't think it matters.
Don't you?
Well, now hold on. It's both. I would say both are very different experiences.
Because I was out as a teenager.
I remember my grandfather told me that someone told him I was gay at 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I was just like a good toddler, and they knew he got a switch in that diaper. He got some pussy in his pull-ups. So if people I was always all my life, everyone always knew. And then as I got older, I learned like there's a level of maybe it was easier because the truth was already out there. So the people that liked me, the people that didn't. I never had to deal with that in between where you like me because I'm straight. So I actually think it's harder for people who have to come out to everybody in their life.
Yeah.
I think because then it's more, and again, it's the you lied to me or you didn't tell me. How can I trust you? What else are you hiding? I feel like it's those questions that they may have to deal with, which don't have anything to do with sexuality.
Exactly.
I could say this, like, it would be like if you found out one of your friends was frighteningly rich and you never knew it, like worth $1 billion. And you're like, your question would be like you would be confused. Like, why would you keep this from me? I love you regardless. And then you would also think, what else are you hiding from me?
Yeah. That.
It's
Or more like, why are you even friends with me, who's way, way less? But that's
and then why are you friends? Is it an amusement thing? Am I just your poor man that dances? And then here come the questions. It's a trust issue.
Yeah.
Fair point. It's like I do circle back to my original statement. Is it more painful at a younger age or an older age when one is outed?
Yeah, I would say you also have a lot more to lose because I was never outed because everyone always knew from jump, and it was always a conversation around me, whether I was agreeing with it or disagreeing with it. Everyone around me was always authentic, so they always knew that at least it was a possibility. So I never lost any friends. I feel like having to come out, you've got a lot more to lose. You've got people that you love that, I may say this and they might not love me. You may know they've said things about gay people and the relationship will never be the same when you come out. So I feel like it's much harder. But I also can't count out how many things I lost out on and gay kids lose out on as far as friendships and socialization because we're ostracized, we're left alone. Either the kids don't want to play with us or the parents won't let them. Talk about that too.
When I was outed, like the familial aspect didn't change, even though my father, like I knew he knew, and I knew immediately because the way he treated me was far different. He still embraced me, but I knew that there was something else broken in the relationship. And I knew people were like walking on ice, particularly around my dad's family, but also societally, all my peers. It was a never-ending cycle of shit, which almost took me out.
See, I had that never-ending cycle of shit. I grew up with it, which is why I have the mouth that I do. And people learned to leave me alone. And that's why people say like, I'm a little afraid of you. And I'm like, honey, as long as you don't cross me, you don't have to be.
Yeah.
But
oh my God, no, Alex is so nice. No.
Yeah.
Don't be like that, guys. Alex is actually very nice and kind. I've never heard anything but great things about Alex. However,
I mean, like two people might say otherwise.
Who have red blood beating through their body, when you get their time wrong, they will let you know what time it is.
Yeah, like so I don't live in like a particularly conservative place, but like seeing as how I do know there are a lot of people who do not like me, so I do have to, like in many aspects of my life, look over my shoulders to see if I'm not getting jumped, because it's happened before.
Yeah,
like I had to do like grocery shopping at the crack of dawn just to avoid seeing people. Like my entire life has to be like upturned because of it.
Yeah.
So
I truly hate that you experienced that. I'm so sorry for that.
It's like being Black in America.
Yeah, Funky. I've been dealing with this since I was 11. So,
did you just say Funky?
Yep.
Liam, do you need your glasses?
Yes, it did. It was like, baby, I got you. Girl, you was right there with the minutes.
It's been real, your piece.
Is let my friend think he crazy. Did he? Go on with the conversation.
That is hilarious.
No, baby.
I am speechless.
Honestly,
I was listening to Funky by name this morning. That's why I'm not.
He said, and girl, I'm so glad everybody heard it.
I was listening to Funky by name this morning. That's why it was on my mind.
I am speechless.
Oh my.
Oh,
And the way he said it so smooth with no
Yeah,
hesitation.
like
And
not a
then
care in the world.
I saw a look in his eye where it caught himself, where he was going to try to keep right on going. And I said, hold on, you got to stop that.
I'm
He
like,
said, and Aaron was like, "Yup."
sorry. It came.
Y'all wonder why I have her in the chat. This is why.
I thought I was like I misheard him, but no.
Nope. I'm like literally like a court reporter. I don't even know. Like,
But you know what?
I just answered back. Like,
You know what?
Yep.
Since you brought him up,
Well, and you know what? Yeah,
No.
let's talk about it.
I got a question, Alex. What do you think about Mariah saying that he's being paid to bash her?
Oh.
Who's being paid to bash her?
Mariah Huck said that Dineva was being paid to bash her on his YouTube channel. Me personally, when I heard it, I said, I see, this is why they don't like you. This is exactly why these ladies on that show don't like you. And don't get me wrong, we could sit here all day long and say, you know what, it's wrong. They stole her show. She came up with the concept. They iced her off of her own show and so on and so forth. But when those ladies say that Mariah lies a lot, this is what they're talking about. And for the day one girls that watched Married to Medicine since the pilot episode, they know Mariah lies.
It's like
Mariah lies a lot.
Like, you
When
know,
did Funky talk about Mariah?
I think he was, you know, that recent clip of her saying that she would never join RHOA if they offered it to her or something. Yes, the one who thought they were talking about both of them. No, they don't want you. They just want her. But I don't even think they asked her recently. I think some of the viewers were saying, like, would you ever join RHOA? And she was giving commentary about Kenya's suspension and stuff. So, you know, people were talking about her commentary and her opinion. That somehow turned, what he said about it somehow turned into, well, they pay you, the cast pays you to bash me. Okay. Again, this is why they don't like her, though. This is why those ladies don't want to work with her.
May I speak?
Yes, I'm gonna mute.
Mariah Huck is an idiot. There's just no other way to describe it. As somebody who's been in this YouTube game for a minute, as someone who's been accused of writing reads for people, and baby, I would put that on my fucking resume. Let's start there. Bitch, if my reads made it to television, oh wait, they actually have. I was on the Housewives.
Just say the franchise.
Alex.
I remember the franchise.
I remember. Yes. I remember when that rumor was going around.
I will never take credit for anything I haven't done. The accusations are so fucking wild. Mariah Huck is an idiot. That's all I can say. Ain't nobody spending. And them cheap bitches you on the cast with, Simone won't get herself a decent outfit. You think she gonna pay for a decent read for your trifling off the show ass? Bitch, please.
Told you can't stay in the home.
Toya wouldn't even donate $1,000 to help pay for that Met Gala event.
Ain't nobody spending the money they make on this show to read you when they could read you for free. Why would they pay when I do it? Well, I get paid to do it. Yeah. They don't have to pay me to do it. They know that gets a check from somewhere else.
Alex, why pay for oxygen you can breathe for free?
Thank you. Mariah Huck thinks people think of her.
Now,
truly, both of them lie a lot.
No. Let me say that again. Let me say it again. Mariah, and I need everybody to say it with me now. Mariah Huck.
Mariah Huck.
Thinks people.
Thinks people.
Think of her.
Think of her.
That is very true. I have forgotten about her until that video came up on my feed.
No one thinks of you. You're trying to get back into the zeitgeist.
Yeah.
No one
with that echoey studio. She's talking about she has a production studio where y'all can do an interview. Echo every time she's in it.
No.
The acoustic.
Her husband got her a place to get the fuck out of his face.
Well, it's
Now,
echoey in there.
does he remind you of that Green Turtle kids picture book? Her husband?
Sweet pickles.
Yeah. Like,
Don't test me on nostalgia.
His name was Franklin. Like, that man looks like his name is Franklin, right?
Who?
Franklin the turtle.
The husband.
Mariah's husband?
Yeah.
No, Mariah's husband looks like a good credit score, good life insurance, and paying bills.
So.
He
And
looks
their babies
like
are very cute,
he
too.
looks like life without question of where your next meal is coming from, because you know it's lobster and shrimp. I fuck with her husband all day, all night. Please, he keeps her ass in Gucci and gold. And again, bought her a get the fuck out of my face studio.
He says, I want to keep this marriage, so I'm going to give you a hobby to deal with so you don't irritate me.
You know, it's even worse that she accused him specifically of being paid, because he's had several interactions with her on and off camera. And like, for example, that infamous showdown between her and Quad, when she put hands on Quad, that happened on camera, he was present for that. So I'm saying any opinion that he formed of you didn't need to be influenced by anybody else. He's had actual interactions with you.
Because
now,
that was a time when...
Wait, I gotta bring it on back since I was called funky. Everybody heard it. Let's go on and talk about TGIF.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Now, should it return? Because
I feel
like you've gone through 2 co-hosts in 6 months. Like y'all running through co-hosts like Portia runs through husbands, quick, fast, and in a hurry.
I mean, this is not that fast.
Hold on, let me finish. I'm not going to say who the problem is or was. I'm not, because like, here's the thing. Funky is like, well, you can say what you want about me, but they do. Here we are again. The show is on hiatus, and I saw a great tweet, and Aaron, you can back me up on this because we are the connoisseurs of television and nostalgia in the room. We are the authorities on this. When Fox puts a show on hiatus, that means it's canceled. They just don't want niggas to stop watching. Oh, I didn't say that.
Freudian slip.
I was like, it's my channel.
Yeah. And facts.
Wrong.
Should TGIF come back? Do we want to see them again?
No.
I never wanted to see it in the first place. I never wanted to see it in the first place.
We gotta laugh at that.
Another week.
That was a Danielle Cabral.
No. Oh yeah.
I'm sorry. It's gone through more hosts than Wendy Williams did after the fallout. You got Mariah Hook, Shirley LaToya Jackson.
And it wasn't that great to begin with. The only time they went viral is when FD said something problematic and insulting to actual celebrities, like when he said all that stuff about Chloe Bailey. Let's keep it real. Who actually talks about those people on there and what's going on that show when they're not saying something highly offensive to upset people?
And I will say this, like I talked about Normani's album flopping. We can talk about when an artist disappoints us, when we don't agree with their project, or how the audience didn't support it without disrespecting them as women or as Black women. Like that, like I can speak freely about. And really, my question wasn't even to Normani, it was to the audience. 91 was your debut. Everybody had been gassing this girl's head up for 6 years. That's my issue. But there's a way, but I just say that to say, like, you don't have to agree with every artist. And, I report on the news, he reports on the news. We ain't going to agree with every project you have. But there's a way to not be insulting.
Yeah. With Normani, like, we've been waiting for this, 5, 6 years. It was the epitome of a grand opening, grand closing.
Yep.
I mean, my friend reached out to me
on the charts now. The album is.
My friend reached out to me last night to ask me about it, and he called me on it because I started listening to the album, but I never went back because I got distracted. And he was like, "Well, case open, case closed." And I was like, "What do you mean? I didn't even give it a chance yet." But if it was good, the little bit you heard would have compelled you to go back. I had to give him that. The one thing I will say though, because I am someone who I feel like she has most of the elements that makes for a great artist. The one thing I will say, guys, is this: Janet Jackson's first 2 albums were flops.
Very much so.
Not every artist has a chart-topping debut. She might just need a little longer in the oven. I know we are used to seeing, like I think back to like Alicia Keys. When Alicia Keys first came out, Alicia Keys blew up immediately with that first album. She was everywhere. Not every artist has that moment where they're just like soaring the first album out. I'm a big fan of Victoria Monet. She's been making music for a long time. She's finally hit her stride and people are recognizing her music being great. But I was listening to her back in 2016 when nobody was listening to her. Sometimes people need a little longer.
Yeah, but I can Alicia Keys. I can put myself in
that. But back to TGI, before we get on lesbians that still husbands.
I'm dying. Alexander Diane Rodgers.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
You will be the
I'll
cause
tell
of my
you
death.
sorry, Miss Shonda. But back to TGIF. So, if we're all, and it seems like we are all in agreement, they shouldn't bring the show back. Anybody think they should?
I want to give them one more chance. 3 strikes.
With who? Don't say me. I'm gonna be a
no, thank you. I don't want you over there. I'm not gonna lie.
Pop roast is successful. I'm gonna stick with my brand.
And also, you can't be dealing with Mariah.
I got nothing then. Damn it.
And her Shania LaToya Jackson looking ass too.
Oh, you wanted me on TGI? What the fuck do you think me and Al Reynolds are gonna do? Now, me and Claudia, like I've actually hung out with Claudia, with Dustin Ross. Claudia was cool. We hung out at the W Hotel. She paid for my dinner. She is a class act. She has been nothing but nice to me. So I can only vouch for Claudia because I've only had positive experiences with her. Gotcha. She offered me a job. She told me to send my reel in for Fox Soul when Funky got fired. Everybody knows. I told this is shit that everybody's already out there, so it ain't me spilling no tea. But I don't think that, and I think that Al has shown that he's not willing to work with someone new or that he may not like. And I'm like, I'll say, I respect Heavenly so much because I have called Heavenly everything. But a child.
Let's not talk about those thumbnails. Let's not even mention those thumbnails. But the one thing I can attest to, the one thing I can attest to, a Florida girl loves a good read.
Yes.
Heavily won't take it personally, okay? We love a good read. We give credit where credit is due.
And she said that multiple times. She said, look, I know you've said some things about me. You're here. And I was there. I was a respectful guest. I am a comedian. I say these things because it's funny and we can get a laugh and a kiki about a show, and it makes it different than most of the other reviewers on YouTube because I do a stand-up comedy set about it. So that's the way I set myself apart. But I'm not going to be disrespectful or mean to anybody. I'm talking about you on a show. Like, I looked at Giselle up in her face and I was like, I don't like how you treated people on the show. And I was able to give her examples. And she said, well, how? And I said, perfect example, how you messed up Robin's open house when she was trying to get into real estate. I've done real estate. That would have really hurt me as a friend. She said, oh, I forgot I had done that. So if I'm going to say something, I'm going to call you on a specific action. But I also realize I don't know you, nor will I say I dislike you. Like, that ain't me.
Yeah. Also, all the quips you threw at Heavenly, Heavenly is a class act and she can take the joke, and also she can laugh at herself.
What is she?
No,
she is.
The class act. No, I'm sorry. Class act.
In real life, she really don't take none of this personal. Yeah. She really doesn't. And like the only thing, Heavenly, like most people have boundaries. Don't talk about her children. Don't talk about her husband. Don't come for her business. You can say whatever you want to say outside of those three things.
And she does too. So that's why I joke. No, she does take it very well, but that's because she dishes it out. She will walk you like a dog on her channel if she feels like it and want you to be over it too. So I think that's why I was joking about the class act. Calling her a class act. I'm like, no, that bitch runs her mouth so hard that if she didn't tolerate what other people said about her, the hypocrisy would boot her out of her job.
Yes,
Because
very much
so
so.
I respect Heavenly for understanding that she
plays the
can't be a
game.
hypocrite. That I respect her for
that's-
not being pure hypocrisy.
That's what it
In that
is,
sense.
Aaron. That's what it is. Beautiful point. Beautiful
Thank
point.
you.
Heavenly knows. I like. Look, if I'm gonna say your mama, if I'm gonna say this, I have to be ready to back down and apologize a little bit because I know I'm gonna take it to hell.
To hell.
Like
And
Bravo
no problem.
hates a hypocrite. They'll deal with the scammer, a fraudster, a felon, even, but a hypocrite, no. And the
Well,
audience
what'll
won't
happen
either.
is then they'll find out who Daddy cheating with and put her on the show.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
You think they got
No.
footage?
It's Atlanta. We found Booty Toot Stewart's footage.
No, he thrusted that on us.
I'm sorry, but here's the thing. Why? Now, let's ask this. I want a round robin. If you were a man suspected of homosexual activities, why would you get on camera? I was almost about to toot my butt, but I carry myself a little respect and decorum, and I just don't have the pants on right now that would make it funny. If I had some pants that would flap, that would make it funny, then I would. I got on my little comforts right now, so we ain't gonna do it. But why would you have that out? And those pictures were very recent. That was the same build he had. It wasn't like that was something from 20 years ago. It was like iPhones had kind of just come out. That was new.
Oh, okay, that's what he meant. Yeah. I mean, Portia married him on what? When was those rumors?
Do you think they consummated the marriage?
No.
Yes.
Because I don't see Portia.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Men like him do it to prove that they're not.
Yeah.
And she's
You speaking from experience.
No, I'm just saying, from witnessing things. I've never had that experience that I know of. But
I know of. It was just something
I'm not actively aware of anyone having those same issues as him. But and then we also see how my friends and I call Portia Project Pigeon Portia, PPP short. We see how PPP moves, and she's going to do it to try to secure a bag because that's how Miss Diane raised her.
Because I had sex with a woman. She was a friend, and I told her I was gay, and she's like, "Have you ever done it?" I said, "No," and she said, "You want to give it a whirl?" And I said, "Okay, fine. What the hell?" And I appreciate her for that because it was with someone that cared about me. I got to have a nice, safe experience. Nobody got pregnant. We wore protection. It was it was a good no, but I appreciate her for that, and we're still friends to this day. So that's why I also there was just the way you said, I was like, oh my goodness,
but
brought back memories.
Oh. But actually, back to TGIF.
Yes.
Yeah. If it's without you, I don't see it surviving.
What? No, I was never on the show, so it can never be if it's without me.
If you don't get on, I don't see anyone else saving that show.
I don't know why Fox so invested.
Would it be me, Chris, and Claudia?
No. Or when I say you, I mean someone who's very actively.
I would prefer it not be. I listen. I know that's your girl, but I ain't never seen it for her. What I will say though is I never understood why they invested everything in TGIF. I really felt like they should have invested more in that Cocktail with Queen show. It just needed to be recasted.
And Aaron and I have talked about this, and the fact that hold on.
That show was a better fit for Claudia.
That might have been she could have been a great moderator on that show, but Cocktails with Queens, you had these wonderful aunties that were stars of music and screen, women we had grown up with, women that are now our young aunties. Some of us, they're a little mature aunties, because like I ain't that much younger than them. Let's be real.
There was something for everyone.
I'm catching up. I'm catching up. So I feel like that was such a great weekday show. And, you know, they had some viral moments and they said some things. But you know what? When you're on a public show, you're going to say some things. Whoopi said some things. You move on. You move on.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like TGIF as the weekend show was amazing in that spot where it's like, great. We watched Cocktails with Queens. Now we're going to watch TGIF. It was a great auntie hour on a Friday night where you could just sit home, cackle, catch up on the week's topics, and then turning them into a weekday show. It's like, and still calling it TGIF. It's like, well, what are you doing?
Yeah. Because I'm not saying you specifically, Alex, to be honest. I'm saying someone that's like you, and that is
there is no one on earth like me, never has been, never will be. I don't know where the hell you got that idea from. Someone like me, the fuck?
A cult of personality, I meant. Sorry.
Ain't never, like, I'm sorry. I'm going to toot my horn on that one.
I mean, I have never seen someone or heard someone like me. But a cult of personality, someone who's more active in that they're as hungry to be a personality that is not just going to sit back. You know, I feel like that's what this show needs. And also, especially after everything, it just needs a new face, because just the interactions, the relationships, they're so tense right now that no one's going to really work together that well. I would say even Claudia is like too.
Wait. Say that again. Say that again.
The relationships are too tense to really work together really that well, because it's like, it's just the energy now too. It's like, why are you guys here if you don't really, really like or dislike each other that much? It's like, I'm not going to watch it.
It's a Monica
a great point. I wonder if the switch to 5 days started to get draining for them compared to once or twice a week.
That might be it.
It's an excellent point.
As someone who's done a weekly show going on
and a daily,
going on 7 years, I love Chris dearly. Chris and I have been through ups and downs. He's been through he's been there for me through some of the real personal traumas of my life.
Yeah,
like that is a stand-up man, a stand-up friend.
Yeah.
I would say, even with us, with our background and our history, I can say, like, now don't get me wrong, for $5,000, for $1,000 a day, we would get it together. For $1,000 each.
You look at each other like, damn it, we are going to fucking get this shit done.
Each. $1,000 a day. Quiet as kept for $500. But because we've been working together for so long, we would know how to deal with it. Mm-hmm. We would know how to work with our producer. We would know how to have a continuing story, because we have that 7-year history.
Yeah.
But we both would say, like, it would be a bold-faced lie to say that wouldn't be like just the level of doing a live every day and knowing, okay, this is our brand, this is our business. Like, when I get on my own lives, there's a level of, okay, if I mess up a little bit, because I do this all the time, it's okay. Like, I cannot, like, y'all love me enough to know you love my imperfections. You know, I am not a robot. I am a human.
Yep.
Yeah,
and I don't mind showing that. I don't mind saying, like, hey, sometimes it's going to be a little messed up. But I always deliver the jokes and the content.
Exactly. And
I think another factor too is that you and Chris are messy behind the scenes with one another, and we've come to realize that the three of them, former and present, not the four of them, former and present, they had a lot of mess going on, which will ruin a lot of things.
Yeah, back to that, Alex. It's like when you mentioned that the first time, or at the very least, what I heard for the first time, that when you said, "Oh yeah, me and Chris, we had some disagreements. I wouldn't say fights or anything, but like, you know, just some moments. I
It's been
was shocked.
7 years.
I
In
was
7
seriously
years,
shocked. I
it
was
would
like,
be. It's like in 7 years, if like we've admitted that on the show, and that was at what, our 5-year anniversary. Like when you've been in business with someone for a few years, there's going to be moments, small moments of friction.
yeah, and I was shocked because I would never even guess in 1,000 years that you two
Because
would
there's
have.
small moments, because our root is we respect each other.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can
These
personally
four did
attest.
not respect each other.
No, and I can personally attest from being Alex's friend for how many years now that, like, you know, that
Dang.
right, that, you know, they like, and I don't even know like personal details because that's personal business, right? But like, there's never been something that's like earth shattering. What Alex is talking about is like, there's always been like, you know, the respect level and worked through it and integrity on both sides, like, you know, not trying to do one another dirty, any of that crap, you know, like.
And I'm talking about like scheduling conflict.
Yeah, like minor.
Live on the West Coast, like thinking that up. We've had but it's like normal things that you would have with anyone that you would work with at this level of time. But when we look at these other relationships where I'm like, okay, now we've done this for 7 years, and you know, we've had, you know, I fucked up with the editing. I will say that we've had some moments because I messed up with the editing, so I can take the onus on it.
Yes, I remember it was a pop roast you did.
Tiny things.
Yeah. I remember you did a pop roast years ago, and you cut off the first 5 minutes of the footage because it didn't sync properly.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
So yeah, stuff like that. Oh Lord, then we record. Now this is a little bit of tea. We recorded one of the episodes with Bondi Blue. We didn't know that Zoom had changed its policy and cut off after 30 minutes. So we had to call her back and get half the episode and redo the other half of the episode. So it's shit like that.
Oh, speaking of Bondi, y'all send her some love. She's going through something with her dog. Like I saw on her Instagram.
I'll give her.
Yeah.
I know about that.
I sent her some some love myself. But yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Shout out
Julie's
to
going through
Bondi.
some changes right now. She said he had a heat stroke.
Yeah. Yeah, and protect yourself. It's getting hot, like dangerously hot. Like
the heat waves across the country.
In the UK, it's like 28 degrees today. Like it's sweltering.
Okay.
It's surprisingly not abnormally hot in Florida.
Buildings are like bunkers
in Fahrenheit.
Yeah, I was gonna say he means Celsius.
But yeah, Liam, they were making fun of the UK.
So for Americans, that's 82.4 degrees. However, London heat, England heat is different than American heat, and them houses is old and built for insulation, so makes the heat in.
So like take an island too, and make it like 88 at least.
Yeah,
but I have to say, living in California, in Northern California, I hear about a heat wave, and I'm like, oh, that's not for me. But
it's 85 right now, and it's a brisk wind right now. So I'm in Colorado.
Not the brisk.
Oh, Colorado. Okay, well, guess what? It is 63 where I am with the 16-mile-per-hour wind. It's not going to get any higher than 64 today.
Oh.
And the 10-day, our heat wave it's going to get to 73 Monday and Tuesday.
Oh, they're going to melt.
73. Yeah, we don't. That's the one thing about.
Send love to Matty Rants because I know
I have to say, I'm like, okay, I do enjoy this. Like the constant, consistent 60 to 50 degree temperature, always like hoodie weather, so you can eat freely and let your gut grow a little bit. Yeah, because in Los Angeles, it's like you can't eat anything because it's always summer there.
Yep.
Right.
I think
so how do we replace TGIF? Or more importantly,
do you need to?
How do I replace TGIF?
Yes. How you monopolize.
Are you asking what kind of content we're looking forward to seeing?
Exactly. I would say, how would you like to see me and Chris? And I would definitely pull in some of the other Black YouTube family that we have to replace it, because it's hiatus.
Yeah. And we are hitting a dry spell with reality shows. I will say this though, I am super excited because Scotty by Nature, if you guys aren't familiar with him, just told us who's going to be in the lineup for Who Was Wrong. And I heard that you and him have an episode coming up. And Who Was Wrong is one of my favorite features on his channel. So I'm really excited about that.
Okay.
But I have been on Scotty's case for like a year now to do more music-based content discussing some of these artists.
Y'all got in my ass when I talked about rap music. Y'all said stick to Sarah Vaughan. Don't talk about
stick
rap.
to what you know.
About rap. Y'all got in my ass in the comments.
Rap music is one thing, but I want to hear more from you about the pop girls and the R&B girls. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Megan is always a good topic because they always try her. Drake's.
Her album releases this week.
Huh? Say again?
Megan's album releases this week. It's the first album she's had since the verdict came in.
Yes. Wait, hold on. Douglas Gaines gonna say I'm sneaking bites and snacks off camera. Why do you think I'm eating? Why do you think I'm eating?
Oh, those are good. I haven't had them in a minute though.
What is original popcorn? I have never seen those before.
I mean, they're gonna popcorn.
No, I've never seen it before.
Ooh. Oh, well, listen, everybody.
$4 at Walgreens.
Well, I'm in the UK. That's why I haven't seen them before.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. I don't want to break the momentum, but I'm gonna jump everybody. Okay, it was great talking with y'all.
Have a good day.
How do we replace TGI?
I've got it in one.
Because I'm going to go on and call the time of death now.
Yeah.
I think
they're still breathing. Don't put a pillow on their face yet.
The show now is so much about rotating host and scandal that it's not about TGIF anymore. And I think that's why the brass put it on hiatus. I think.
But it's only
honestly, I think Fox Soul set the show up to fail by letting Funky's contract end in the middle of it. They knew this was going to happen.
Yeah, and I think the reason why is because they were paying way too much money. If it's true that all of them were making that much, they were spending way too much money. They were not getting enough views.
They were not
to be paying that much.
They were also on the Air Antenna. They were on Roku. They were on DirecTV. They were low-key a TV show. The YouTube money was not all they were making. And let me tell you this. When you're a company like Fox, like what I make, like here's how YouTube money works. You make a certain amount of money per 1,000 views. Some people make, like the average in America is $10 to $11. You can look it up. For some videos, you make more. For some videos, you make less. Because they are Fox, they can have a different advertising deal where they're making $20 or $30 per 1,000 views. So just because you see some episodes might not have the views that, you think are, a big network should have, they're still making the money.
Yeah, they have a different bracket for money.
Yeah. Gotcha.
I have an idea of how you can replace the show. It's like I mentioned this on the Pop Roast. I gave you a super chat for it. That you're doing an up late with Diane and Diggy.
Wait, up late. Oh, now Chris did say, and to your credit, Chris said we have to do something with that. And I was like, we do have to do something. Diane and Diggy. Diane and Diggy.
A little bit of business, a little bit of personal business, a bit of music recommendations.
I ain't got enough personal business to tell.
That is true. Like, let's not copy too much off of them because
I don't want, like, as a comedian, like when I tell people what I do, a lot of people are apprehensive because they're like, oh, do you talk about people in your life? Like they don't want people in their life to know about things that go on with us behind closed doors. Like
it could be like life events you had, like so like it can be relevant to the situation. So it could like you could throw it in as and when.
Mm-hmm. But
I could see, we could figure something out. But yeah, I've prided myself. I've been doing this for 12, going on 13 years now. I've been doing the podcast for like 7. I don't shame people that do tell their personal business, but I really like that my personal life is my life, and I talk about the other girls on the show. I just don't like, because I could tell you some stories, honey, but then also I only have but so many.
Yeah. Like you tell about yourself, but like in a way that's like,
I humanize, but
you humanize. Perfect. That's a perfect.
I don't tell because y'all, and also that's not why you're here.
Yeah.
You're not here for Alex's Tales After Dark to find out about, the men I meet and what I'm looking for. And I've told you that. It's like I'm definitely looking for a partner that,
18 months.
Well, that's what happens if you don't treat me well. You could live a long, healthy life married to me as long as you treat me well. It will, and I'm cheap. As long as you have beachfront property and a yacht already, I'm cheap.
Mm-hmm. But Alex, I have been enjoying your retro recaps, like when you were talking about Jackie's back and when you were talking about Married to Medicine. Oh my God, I enjoyed the Jackie's back recap so much.
That got 1,000 views out of 65,000 subscribers. But to those who watched it, then that's the thing. I would much rather cater to my dedicated fans that actually enjoy, the random crazy things that run through my mind than always try to be on trend.
Yeah,
so I try to make everybody happy.
Yeah, that's the thing with YouTube that I feel like in this space. Almost, it's like if you're trying to cater to everyone, no one's gonna like you. But if you cater to the things that is true to you and what you want on your channel, people are gonna flock to you and stay with you, because some channels only get like a single or maybe even 2 viral moments, but they don't come back.
And that is such a thing. It's like, do you go for that viral moment, but then viral moments, there are 1 million viral moments a day now. Or do you just say, okay, we're just gonna plug along, but at least the people that watch. But on that note, I have got to get to Love and Marriage Huntsville. We have almost done a 3-hour live. I cannot believe it, but I will talk to y'all soon.
Yay.
Thank you for having us.
Bye, guys.
Bye, y'all.
Nice talking to everyone.